Perfect. We are back live. I will share the take number 2 to the Discord in case some people don't follow me, but was watching the stream earlier before the crash. So, man, my computer is all messed up right now.
You might also want to post in the general channel because I was posting it there, and some people were talking about it there.
Oh, that's good.
You might also want to post in the general channel because I was.
Okay. So, in the Discord. Perfect. I will also share it in the Discord here. Perfect. I think now we should be fine. So what were you saying before all of the drama happened?
Yeah, I was saying like the base skip open or the base skip style can work if you catch someone off guard, and since you're playing humans and not AI, there is a good chance like they will make mistakes and allow you to make that kind of style work. So it doesn't definitely has a place. I just don't think it should be like what you do consistently, because if you do it every game, the problem is it becomes predictable. And if you become predictable with this kind of style that relies on being unpredictable, then your opponents can usually just answer it. The other thing I was saying is like I think tank from your backwards neutral base is kind of a mistake here. The tank really doesn't do anything for you. Like it would be better for you to have a tank on this side, for example, to answer the recon if you understood there was a recon. Or even just like a tank here would probably be better because it can get into like this center area a lot faster. This tank doesn't really provide enough vision anyway to get the recon, so it's not as if you can park the tank here forever to watch the recon. It's just much easier for you to get a recon later down the line to get vision. So to me, like this tank doesn't accomplish much necessarily. Even though from like a cap-based perspective, I think it's fine because like the infantry here is worth more than the infantry here.
Yeah. That was my thought process, and the other reason why I left that tank here is I wanted to move it one space away so I can see the shoal, and this way you would leave your recon on the building, and I want the recon to be on the building because if it's on the building, I can scout it with my lander, so I don't need any other units to scout it.
I see. Okay. Yeah, then that's probably fine. Like I think I have a similar idea. Copter.
Yeah, that's why I laughed. We had the same idea, but you used a transport copter, and I used a lander.
So generally speaking, I always go for like the T over the lander to get the tower. I know Tordred really likes using the lander for like he does something similar to what you're doing here. The reason I don't like it is because again, I feel like you have a very limited time to use this lander to ferry units to this side of the map, and usually you don't want to be cutting off that supply of units very early when they can do the most work in like capturing and defending captures against early harassment. So, and it's not as if a T-copter is horrible on this map because this center base is usually just going to be spamming infantry anyway. The T-copter helps accelerate all of those infantry to the front, kind of like to the center here, or towards this area where they can help capture more stuff. T-copter also allows for like some nice mech timings, which I do almost every game. So yeah, like, and you know, T-copter only gets more valuable as it progresses because in the mid game you start losing infantry, so you need to replenish them. Having a transport out at that time helps like reinforce those infantry faster. At that point, the lander really doesn't cut it because the lander is usually busy ferrying vehicles from this base like every turn into like this forest tile or this forest tile. And it can only like unload one unit at a time, so it's a little bit worse for like infantry stuff because like the vehicles will usually take priority. That's why like I just go T-copter every game.
That's a good learning experience because on my realm of players, I've never seen a transport copter used to reach the tower. So this is very clever. I do like it a lot, and I think I will start using that. I do like the idea a lot.
Yep, and we can see here, like, this is already where my recon starts paying for itself. Like, I will deny this. I'm pretty sure I will deny this capture for. Like, you will never basically get any of these cities as a result, because partly because of your opening. Like, you committed. Like, I saw so many vehicles here, I understood immediately, like, okay, this recon is just gonna get infinite value. There's no way you have anything in response to this right now, or for the next few turns. Even because like this recon also sees the build here. The fact that I didn't see a tank immediately tells me like, okay, I'm safe for like the next 2-3 turns for sure. The other thing is like I would say like this recon, like the day 2 recon that I did, is really strong against players who pick a CO like Drake, Sammy, or Sturm. Those 3 COs in particular have a trick where if the lander is here, it can go straight to this shoal instead of being stopped right short here, because like they have either the +1 move for Sammy and Drake, or they ignore the shoal penalty for not the shoal penalty, the reef penalty for movement if you're Sturm. That's what lets them get to this turn earlier, and they will usually use that lander +1 move to like get to these captures a bit faster. The day 2 recon basically shuts that kind of style down, and because like Sammy, Drake are both kind of terrible on this map anyway. Like I think air is too important for Drake. Sammy just loses I think to Kindle or Andy, and like infantry don't have such a good time here by themselves. So I think for those reasons they both lose to Andy, and I think Kindle is probably even with Drake, but you'd prefer Kindle versus Andy than Drake. So yeah, I always just go day 2 recon versus OCOs, and it always works out somehow. Okay, turn 6 for you. So you move your artillery down, and I think like this move is like really the most questionable one. So like the tank doesn't have to be here anymore; it should just be moving out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
The reason for that is like even if you build an infantry this turn, the next turn when the artillery wants to shoot, you can just immediately drop a recon, and like the built recon will give vision, right? So you can even delay the vision for like another turn if you want to, like if you want an infantry here. So this tank accomplishes nothing; it's just wasted tempo.
This is true.
Okay, interesting. You drop an infantry backwards. I guess this is maybe fine, but I think this infantry really should have like walked this way instead, because From here, it's not really gonna do anything. This infantry here can load into the lander. So like, and then the lander will provide vision, right? So it's not as if you can, again, that's another reason why the tank shouldn't be here. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think this lander shouldn't have dropped the infantry here. The infantry should just walk. If it's here, it will get to like these properties faster. From here, I don't think it gets anywhere faster except if you're going straight down. Which is also fine, but like, I would prefer the infantry here because it goes straight down towards more center. And anyway, like these cities will be captured by this base here, or like will be pressured by this base here, assuming you can get them and like force me out of the area.
So now it's taking forever to kill that black boat.
Yeah, because of like the Javier pick. That's like kind of like one of the Javier on this map. Black boats just take forever to kill. I think that was pretty much it for your turn, so we'll look at mine. Okay, you build another tank here. The thing is, like, I saw the lander move down south, so now I'm very, very sure that this recon is definitely safe for a few more turns. I think the key question for me this turn was, do I deny your port or do I deny this city? For those of you in the chat, you can, like, probably take a few seconds to figure it out. I'll give you, like, 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the correct answer is you deny this city, for sure. This port, you can't really deny it forever. It's nice to do, it's nice to try, right? It's annoying. But eventually, like, it's pretty trivial for an infantry to, like, walk back up to this port later down the line if the lander comes back and secure it, and it's not that easy to keep interrupting it. Denying this port also doesn't really do much long term, because again, it's questionable if you can keep denying it long term. This city, for sure, I can deny it long term. Like, if you have waited this long to commit tanks to this area, you're never gonna get this city if I deny it now, because by the time your tank arrives, artillery and copters from this base and infantry all pressuring this area, meaning I can make sure you never get any of these cities if you don't get it now. That's why, like, this deny is worth much more than this deny.
So I was surprised by that, because I was like, didn't he want to kill my infantry? But now I understand why you decided to deny me the building. But as we were playing, I was like, what? He leaves my infantry alive?
So the other thing is, like, since we're in the capture phase, and as I understand, lander side infantry are so rare and so valuable, it is much better for me if you have 2 5 HP infantry than if you have 1 10 HP infantry. 2 5 HP infantry on your lander side will take 4 turns to capture, right? If it heals up to 7 HP, then you go down full 1k essentially for a few turns. And even if, like, you have 2 7 HP infantry, I'd argue that's still worse than having 1 full HP infantry. A full HP infantry can potentially capture a city in 2 turns before an interrupt can happen. A 7 HP infantry takes 3 turns, and if anything hits it on the last turn, it becomes 4 turns, right?
Yeah.
So 7 HP infantry will never capture anything, I think. Unless, like, you win a really big fight with vehicles, it will never happen, right? So, like, essentially by doing what I did here, I make sure you will never get any other city on that side of the map ever again. And because, like, my theory of the map is, like, this is a pure damage race, like, it's all about making sure your tempo on the enemy lander corner is faster than their tempo on your corner. As long as, like, you don't have, 3 recons on my side of the map at this point. And I know you don't, because, like, I've seen your builds with the recon. I'm pretty sure, like, at this point I'm just winning. And in, like, 5 or 6 turns, once this game develops, like, I've played this kind of, like, map state several times, right? This is not the first time I've seen this. If we just go, like, 5 or 6 turns forward, I will be up, like, 5 to 7k income almost permanently. And there's close to nothing you can do about it if I don't make a mistake. Actually, even if I make a mistake, like, this opening will just win me the game. So, like, that's how strong this is. And this doesn't work just because, like, I'm a better player than you. This works against players who are, like, 1200, 1300, right? Like if they don't know the opening that I do, then I just flat out win. So
Oh, that's good.
it's really really strong. Yeah.
So it's not just me being worse than you. It's also your strat being good. Okay, now I feel better about myself right now.
So this is another really common thing I do. Like I will get the tank here pretty early on, and because like one of the cities that you can actually secure here, but people kind of rarely go for, is like this corner city is hard to contest.
Yeah.
And that's because, like usually you have to waste the tempo unloading a unit here, and then maybe like going here to unload, which a lot of people don't do, but I like doing it. I think the tank helps secure this capture because the tank can reach this area. So if you have a recon trying to like snipe the infantry, the tank can punish it, so it's kind of safe. These two infantry will usually be going for these three cities at some point. Again, the tank will help answer any fast recon here. So like, I think a day 3 or day 4 recon will get answered by this tank. A day 2 recon will obviously still lose. We'll still be able to get damage in before this tank comes out, which is why like the tank needs to come before the artillery if you think it's a day 2 recon. And then I immediately pull off my lander. So I think like again, because I don't think like the HQ can actually be captured really quickly unless like you're fighting Sammy. Maybe I will pull it off, but I rarely see Sammy here anyway. But against like any other CO, I think like an HQ rush is pretty rare. I don't think in the mid game the HQ is really that vulnerable, and the lander has much better things to do than sitting on the HQ because it can boost all the infantry here towards this center area or towards this area if you want to fight here. Helping secure the center is not necessarily game winning, but it is a nice like income advantage if you do it and your opponent doesn't. The other thing is like the lander can help block, and I do this a lot in my games. It will help do some blocking strategies because landers and B-boats are some of like the most cost-effective tanks you can build. And by tank I mean something that shields for you, not something that hits enemy units, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're really really powerful tactically, which is why I always pull it off. I don't think there's much of a point sitting on the HQ. I'm not too worried about the HQ rush here. As long as like you have good map awareness of like where the enemy units are and how they're positioning, and you respect the threat of like the HQ rush, I think you should generally be able to answer it. Okay, so here you start trying to kill my recon, and it's gonna take you 3 hits because I'm hovering, which is also another like really nice thing. That's the other thing why I prefer T-Copter, because I think like the lander staying here for at least 2 turns is kind of bad. If you could kill this in 2 turns, it's fine, right? Because once it unloads the infantry, because unloading and loading are free actions, it can leave the turn after unloading, right? If it's parked on this tile already. That would be fine, but against Javier, since it takes 3 turns, I think it's just too much tempo lost, so I would just go T-Copter as you here.
And now I laugh, you know why? You got the extra defense, and your Black Bolt died. My Black Bolt is still alive.
Yeah, that's down to like, I think your artillery is a turn faster than mine, I think. So
I also
yeah.
think I rolled and you low rolled. Because
yeah, that's also
on our first shot, we dealt the same damage.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but it happens. I don't think it changes all that much, to be honest. Okay, turn 8. So yeah, I moved my tank to the forest, just helping secure more space for myself. This infantry is already eyeing to capture this one. This city is really nice because it can only really be dislodged by, I guess, artillery. But artillery, you don't really want artillery here just to dislodge an infantry. You can use a copter, but again, you don't want to use a copter. It's so passive. So, like, your only hope is your opponent sits on this. And maybe you can kill it with, like, 2 tanks really fast, or, like, 2 recons. and then your infantry goes for it. Otherwise, you're like spending 2 infantry to like dislodge a city infantry. Like, yes, you're still gonna get it, but it's so much tempo loss. Like, sometimes it ends up not being worth it. So, taking the city is, I think, very important for like these kind of side fights. Okay, so very important question for people watching, right? You have 3 infantry here. What is the most optimal cap? Right? So a good way to think about it as an exercise, start with the most backwards infantry you have. Backwards infantry meaning closest to the base. So obviously the infantry we move. Is there anything it can capture this turn? Yes, it's the airport, right? So that's what it should go for. Following the principle of start from the most backwards infantry, which is going to be this one. Is there anything this can... No. But is there anything it can capture in the next turn? Yes, it can go for this city, right? So that's what it should be going for. Right? And then since this infantry can capture either this city or this city by parking here or here, right? But we already know from our earlier move that this infantry can take this city, then this infantry should obviously be going, right? And then, because we know that these 2 cities are going to be... This infantry here should be eyeing to capture one of these 2 cities. So yeah, that's just a quick and easy way for you to optimize your capture phase. Start from the most backwards infantry and work your way forward. We're kind of doing the same thing here with like the artillery. I finally get out my T-copter, and then this infantry is immediately ready to load into the T-copter. The recon then kills off your infantry because it's I calculated it. I'm pretty sure you don't have a tank because like the lander's still back here. The tank is not gonna reach. I doubt you build a tank from this base just to send it this way. It seems kind of silly. So it's a free kill. And then we just get a couple more tanks. I unload my infantry on the off chance that you have a recon in this area. I don't really want to give up a hit on my city. On the HQ, it's a little safer because of the +1 star defense. Also, like it will heal up a bit earlier. At this point, I'm not too worried even if you take me down by like 1k in effect. I want that healthy infantry because the infantry on this side of the map are much more important than the infantry on this side of the map for me. And it's vice versa for you. Like the infantry you have here are very important. The infantry you have here not, because like you have so much more. Okay, turn 8 for you. You build an AA, which is pretty early, but I think this is actually fine. This is one of the few maps where I think anti-air really fast is actually good. On this map, by like turn 10, turn 11, when you have 18k income, I spam copters here, honestly, almost every game. Like I will do the copter every turn, and I will have like 8 to 10 copters in a game usually, fighting at the same time, right?
Wow.
Because I think like if you win the air war here, you pretty much win the game. Copters are really, really strong. You generally your opponent will never have AA to answer all the copters. And if they don't build enough copters to match your copters, then you will end up just killing all their copters in AA, right? And then they will have no answers to air for a few turns, and you will win the mid-fight, then you will win the game. So it's a fairly easy way to convert.
Yeah.
Which is also why like I always pick Andy here, because Andy is the king of air 3. So again, you try to kill my recon, it doesn't work. I'm actually very curious why you built a black bolt.
Okay, here's my thought process. I have no clue how you play, and I am scared to lose the port. Now, you will tell me it's just a port. I will tell you it's 1100, so this is very important. So I was like, okay, for now we have a black bolt protecting the port. And then later on, I will be able to ferry more infantry in this area because the black bolt will be useful, you know? So that was my thought process.
I actually think the black bolt's fine. Losing the port here is game over in my opinion, because then they can just drop a battleship or a carrier, or both, and lock down a base in an airport, and it's pretty hard to break it. Also, because of like your lander positioning, which we talked about earlier, the black boat is a fine answer to like help get more infantry into that area. Although it might be a bit too late at this point, but I don't hate the move. I think it's possible. Um, I don't think like trying to defend the port this early with a black boat, if that was a primary use though, because looking at your infantry positioning, like here, you can pretty much tell that there's no way I have any further than kind of like this line, right?
Yeah.
Just by looking at your positioning, because like you did a somewhat reasonable cap face, and you can expect me to do the same thing. And like the infantry here will take like 3-4 turns, maybe 5 turns to get to this port.
Maybe you add a transport
it's just way too
copter.
early. That's an idea.
Maybe you add a transport copter, or maybe you add an APC. I really had no idea of your opening. I expected to transport or something because on my realm of player they never use transport. So I'm like, maybe in eye level they actually use transport in this map.
Alright, I mean that's fair. But then this is where your starting recon comes in, right? Because like you've seen all my builds from and because like you know the exact timing space die, like the airport gets captured based on like when it dies, right? The lander. And because like you can maintain vision on this airport, if you piece all that information together, you can say 100% confidence, I didn't open a transport this game. Like my first transport came out this turn. You can tell that pretty easily if you use the information you have correctly. So like if you, and this is why like gathering information is so important at the high level, because like it will, like people give up more information than you think they do if you know what to look for. And if you piece together all those things, then you know exactly what they did the first 6-7 turns, and then you know like what is safe and what is not safe to do, right? So like that's how you could have figured out this is safe not to buy this turn, because my transport just came out this turn. There's no way I have an AP for the builds. There's no way a T-copter is out yet, meaning all the infantry here are still probably here, same as you, right? And like there's no way I can threaten this port immediately. So that's how you could have figured out that answer. Okay, finally moving the tank out, reasonable. You get a recon. Both of your tanks are heading here. I guess you're employing the thing I talked about a bit before, about like the death ball meta of keeping all your vehicles together. So it's a good practice. You get another recon, and then you get another. I think the builds are all fairly reasonable. Black boat aside, which I think is fine, but it's not good for like just defending the port. You want to be ferrying infantry if you have a black boat. For me, I'm just doing like a normal cap. At this point of the game, I'm fairly sure I know the stuff that you've captured here, which is just 2 cities. So if I get these 2 captures off, I'm in a very, very good spot. I will have like a near permanent income advantage at that point. Okay, this is actually an important thing, right? So what I want to do is I want the T-copter either on this space or on this space, whatever space the recon is not on. This is a minor optimization problem. The T-copter will give me vision of where the recon is, yes, but I don't want the T-copter getting trapped, right? The reason for that is if a T-copter is standing on this tile or this tile, and it doesn't get trapped, then I can unload the infantry the moment the recon will die in 2 shots, right? No matter where it is, because you're not Javier. And then on the second turn, because it will shoot 1 turn this turn, it will shoot again the next turn, meaning the T-copter can then unload the infantry for free, because unloading is a free action, and then the T-copter can move out. Because I have no way of knowing where your recon is, like it could be on any of these 2 tiles. That is the reason I build the tank. If the tank sees the recon here, then the T-copter can sit here. If the tank doesn't see a recon, then the T-copter can sit on this tile, and then I do the same thing in reverse. So that's one way you can think of it, to like make sure you're maximizing your tempo in a game. Then, yep, we do the exact same thing. We start doing some more captures, artillery and tanks. Okay. So some people might be wondering why I decided to go for this city. I honestly think both are fine. I opted to go for this city first because again, I hadn't seen a recon at this point in time. And I'm thinking, okay, since I'm already pressuring this city, and like a recon might try to interrupt, I might as well go for another one, because it's unlikely you have 2 recons in this area anyway. So you can't interrupt both, so I will get one for sure. In the center, the other thing is I don't really have a tank to cover capture. This tank can cover this capture fairly safely, so even if you try to interrupt this, it won't be for free. Yes, I might not get this city. I think the risk is just too high going for it at this point in time, when none of my tanks are in position to help defend it. And anyway, since I'm winning both sides, like I'm winning the corner race, even if I lose both city center, it doesn't matter that much. I am still in a winning position anyway, so I'm okay giving up this city temporarily. And then, yep, Lander just moves back, so like it will ferry 2 more forward really fast, and just give me more infantry fighting at the front. Finally, recon pulls back. At this point, like I'm pretty sure you have a tank in the area. I know it's safe here because your infantry is here, so there's no way you can get vision on the tank, on the recon by parking next to it, as well as hitting it. Unless you have 2 tanks, which I was really skeptical of. I don't think it's really possible, which I was correct. So this recon is fairly safe, even though it is within like 6 moves of the tank. Okay. So for your turn, do some captures, reasonable. You get this city because I didn't go for it last. In exchange, I get this city and this city because you don't have a recon in time. You finally kill my recon, and unload the infantry. Similar idea to like what I'm going to. Okay, and you start loading infantry into the black boat. I think that's pretty good. You are moving artillery and some more tanks on this area. Just like start challenging these captures. It's a little late at this point, but you do have the right strategic idea. It's just slower than what it should be because again, like you didn't get the fast recon to start putting pressure fast. And then you build another artillery, which you explained earlier is for the black boat on the HQ. So I understand that, even though I don't agree. Correct. All right. Are there any new questions so far, Kantbei?
I look at the chat. One of the guys says, "I don't know. I'm confused. I feel is too high level for me." Okay, I see.
Well, you know, if there's anything like that's confusing, feel free to ask, and I will try to like explain more the thought process around that. And obviously, I don't expect people to like get some of these concepts immediately, but the hope is like you have to practice these things, right? And like by practicing the ideas slowly, you will start to understand why high level players do what they do. And hopefully, right, like that will help you become a high level player yourself. No one starts off like understanding all these concepts unless they're like an advanced wars by web genius. And to be fair, we do have a couple of those on the site, but they're rarer than they are. They're rarer than not, right?
Yeah. I've been playing forever and I'm still bad.
We basically Okay, so I finally do the exact same thing like you did, except T-copter. So like now I unload the infantry. The T-copter can go ferry more infantry forward with the load unload trick.
So I've got a question in the chat. How to not have too many people die on your side?
How to not have too many people die on your side. Okay. Does he mean infantry by that, or just units in general? If it's infantry, the answer is...
He basically asked, not let your troop die a lot. That's the exact question.
Right. Okay. So if you find that your problem is your infantry are dying too, that probably your tank timing's off, your capture game is off, because like in most maps, your tanks should be able to cover your infantry before like too much damage gets done. Obviously, there's some maps like this where you can do like really fast recon timings that hit before tanks arrive. And in those cases, like you kind of just have to know the map, and you just have to like have map knowledge of that. If you're talking about like in general, your army is dying too fast, that probably means you are not keeping all your tanks and infantry kind of bunched up together in what's called a death ball. So the idea there is basically you can't win everywhere in the map at the same time without being just a flat out better player, and relying on that is kind of like risky unless you think you're a tactical genius. You're probably not if you're asking this question, right? If so, knowing that you can't win every area of the map, opponent also, right? It's just not possible. That's not how the game works. So your goal is to try to win one area of the map faster than they can, right? And that's why we have something called the Death Ball meta, which is keeping all your tanks, all your fighting vehicles together as much as possible, keeping a healthy amount of infantry with them, and then committing just the bare minimum amount of infantry and maybe one tank at most to the area you're not committing on, to like just slow down their ability to take your cities. And the idea there is like if your opponent doesn't do the same thing, they don't death ball, I mean, and they split up their army, your death ball will kill half their army, right? Why is that? If you have 10 tanks in one area and they have 5 tanks in one area and 5 tanks in the other half, 5 tanks will never beat 10, right? Unless you pick Kantbei to call in, for example, but no one does that and it's not the league, right? So 5 tanks don't beat 10 tanks. It will never happen. Even if they get every first strike, they will all die, and you will have 7.5 tanks of HP to kill 5 tanks. And then, if the question is, but I don't want to lose income, the answer to that is because you kill their 5 tanks here, you will also get all these cities here that they will be capturing on the other side. So income-wise, you will go even, right? But you will have killed more of their tanks than they killed yours. And using that advantage, you can just keep killing more of their stuff. As long as like you don't overextend too deeply, you'll be fine. Like you're in a winning position. So yeah, the short answer to how to let stuff not die as fast is Death Ball. Death Ball isn't like, you know, the be all end all of Advance Wars, right? Like as you go higher and higher, there are more answers to it. But until you get to like 1100 or 1200, honestly, very few people do it at that stage, and you will still just win more games than you lose. Also, like without understanding Death Ball, you're not really equipped yet to understand like the higher level ways to answer the Death Ball, because all of those kind of rely on the idea like that you understand what a Death Ball is, and then you understand how to use it, and also when you can use it and when you cannot use it versus those advanced strategies. So yeah, short answer is keep your tanks together all the time. A lone tank in Advanced Wars Fog is not a tank, it's a tank. It just doesn't know it yet. Alright, we ferry more infantry. I finally see that you're going for this here. Knowing that, I pull back my tank anyway, like I finished my captures here already, so like if you haven't interrupted, I don't care if you die anyway. Like if the recon gets a hit in, that's fine. I'm just gonna pull away my infantry anyway and play scared, because I understand I'm gonna win this side here. I'm trying to delay you here, right? So like we're applying what I just talked about to like the earlier question. I build a AA, and then here, like you see, like I get the mech. So like the idea with the mech is because the T-copter is perfectly positioned, and because like the funding works out, the T-copter can immediately ferry the mech close to the front, kind of like in this area, to like help offset the fact that I didn't get a tank until I got T-copter. It honestly doesn't matter, like strictly speaking, because you went a B-boat as well, so like it's not as if like I'm down a tank compared to you. But then I guess it is Sasha, so like I guess I am down a tank. In the end, like it balances out because you're Sasha, but you did build a B-boat. Okay, so we finished some captures. You get the city in the center, which is you start doing some harassment. And you have your artillery in place already. I think it's fairly dubious to use the AA to kill the infantry here. Um, Actually, let's rewind a bit.
I think I was
So yeah, it's
overly
much.
aggressive.
Yeah, I think like it's better for you to have the recon from here and the AA from here. Because the AA is more important than the recon.
Yeah.
Why is it more important? First of all, you already have two more starved for vision, right? Second of all, you only have one AA, and there are two airports, right? So like, I know like you personally like really fast AAs, but in this case, I think you don't have enough AAs because like again, I just copter spam this map every game. A lot of high level
I
players
didn't know
copter
that.
spam this.
I didn't know
Yeah.
how good the air was. And I think now I've got a question for you here. How long
Mm-hmm.
has you been playing multiplayer? So how long you are playing multiplayer?
Right. So I started playing Advanced Wars by web, I think May 2021. So coming up to close to a full year now.
Really? That's interesting. That's very interesting. But yeah,
Um,
I didn't know you were spamming air units in this map.
Yeah, so one quick way to see like if areas are good is you count the number of airports. If there are two airports, it generally means it's a high air map, right? The other thing to look at is like how many cities there are, and on this map, I think like you have somewhere between 24 and 25,000 income. If the map gets capped in half, right? Like if every city
Yeah.
gets taken and we have an even split, 24 or 25 is enough for like a copter and two tanks, or like even two copters, three infantry is like not crazy. So because the income is so high, air for sure will see a lot of use because basically if you don't build air, you go down too much in V. Like a copter and tank every turn is really hard to answer at this kind of like income level. You can go for like tank AA of course to like try to answer it, but it's really risky. The problem is like because you go tank AA instead of like tank copter, you go down one infantry every turn you do that, and so like you're giving up the unit count advantage or the unit count parity even, and at a certain point like you'll just get over, because like you will need like an AA to kill a copter and a tank to kill the tank, but then they have a bunch of infantry you have no answer to who are walling, and you are wasting vehicle shots on infantry. And then suddenly, once you're forced into that position, it's a lost fight. You either have to give up cities or you lose the fight, right? So that's why spamming air is really strong. Some high-level players disagree with me. Like I know Master of Math doesn't think like the really high copter count style I play here works. But like I've seen people like Tordred do it pretty successfully on similar maps like Stalingrad. I know Starflash also does it quite frequently now. So yeah, it might not be like the most optimal play right now at the high level. We're still kind of trying, but it does work decently enough that I think it's something you have to keep in mind. Okay, so yeah, this AA should have been on this force, and like recon should be here instead if you wanted to kill. Again, just reiterating, like the most key part of your army is the one that you have the least of, and that's integral, right? So
Yeah.
in this case for you, it's AA because you only have one AA and you have 3 recons. You built a 4th recon. Okay, this is really interesting. Why the 4th recon?
Vision. And here's another thing. I wanted to save a bit of money, and you know why. But I won't spoil it right away because this will come soon. But I wanted to save money, but I still wanted like useful unit, and 2 infantry at that point in the game, it's pretty bad. So I was like, okay, Recon because it's cheaper and I can still save some money. So yeah, that's the reason of that Recon.
Okay, I mean, it's fine. The problem with like multi openings, but you'll be best friends with Math Blitz because he also loves doing like 4 recon stuff. But the reason why this can be kind of weak is because if you don't have enough tanks to bait out the other tanks from hitting the recons, then the recons can just die. Because like they're really flimsy, right? Like they only work versus infantry.
Yeah.
The other thing is like because like how the map's laid out, and like even if you think this is an HQ race, right? If you think it's an HQ race, then you also understand like there's not gonna be that much infantry here anyway for the recons to hit.
Yeah.
So like by buying recons, they actually don't accomplish anything because like the infantry will die to like 2 recons and 2 infantry, right? Like it will do the job of 4. So it doesn't necessarily do anything more that 2 recons don't. So like just getting more infantry would be better in my opinion because infantry can capture cities and threaten cities. Recons can't do that. Infantry also actually wall better than recons tanks. Like an infantry will never die to 1 shot versus a tank, even on like a shoal.
Yeah.
But a recon will generally die to 1 shot, or like it's like a luck roll. But yeah, like the recon doesn't actually wall versus tanks, so that's why infantry are better.
Usually,
they do like
usually I ate recon, and usually I think it's a mid game to late game unit, and I know I based on my games against you and other high level player, I know a lot of you like the early recon opening, but I still hate like the idea of a recon early in the game. Same if I'm Sturm. If I'm Sturm, I don't care because the recon are broken with Sturm, but with other seals, I think the recon is just better mid game and late game. But I think I still overkilled it with 4 recon.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I think there's just too many recons here, and again, like because you have the triple artillery, the artillery and recon is actually like a really nice combo, but it's not something that I'd recommend versus. Yeah, and I think you just needed more copters at this time, but you're gonna be building something juicy later on, which is why like I kind of get why you didn't build the copters. You were saving money. Okay. So we can already see here, like I'm already up 2k against you, but that's only because you're Sasha, right? And the fact that I have this much income advantage against you when you're Sasha means like this game is already actually pretty lost for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be having to like do something really, really strong in the next few turns, because being even on income as Sasha is already losing, to be honest. Like you're supposed to have 10%. If you lose the cap base as Sasha, you lose the game. Because if you don't even have income going for you, you have nothing going for you, right? Like you deny a power, but you also don't really have a power yourself as Sasha. So
yeah,
really, what are you accomplishing, right? Like your units are flat out worse stat wise, right? So it's really, really bad to be mentioned. And then we just kill your infantry. We start trying to capture, that city again. At this point, like I'm starting to centralize all my tanks. I kind of understood from like what I've been seeing here, like you essentially just seem to have given up this side entirely. You don't seem to be intent on contesting anything. So I can just leave on the concept of like what we talked about briefly earlier about like how to win tempo, right? And, like you want to be a tempo ahead compared to your opponent, and like committing as few units as possible to an area in order to win it. In this case, like I only need to leave like a couple of infantry, maybe a recon, maybe a tank, and an artillery. But like if the artillery and tank are positioned somewhere here, they will be able to affect this part of the fight if I need them to, while also like defending everything here. And anyway, like if this infantry dies, it doesn't matter because it's already captured the city. You're not gonna get that city anyway because I have too much infantry. So this area is already like pretty safe, and I'm confident I'm gonna win all of these cities for sure. We start to finally get our tower, which is maybe a bit late, but it's fine. We get the mech out, which is pretty nice. The recon goes to heal, and then we just wall up around our artillery so that everything is nice and protected. Technically, the tank could have shot this artillery, of course, but again, it seemed unlikely to me that you would somehow have vision because of like what I saw here. Also, like even if you hit my artillery, the tank will shoot back, and then I'll be fine. Like the tank can even shoot back from a city if I wanted to interrupt my capture. I probably wouldn't have, but like basically a Javier tank getting first strike from a city is really, really strong. It goes like a 9-3 trade, I think, which is very deadly. And then we start the copter spam. Here I leave my infantry on. I was afraid to have a tank. You actually didn't have a tank, but I was afraid you'd have a tank and you would get a first strike on my tank from the HQ, which would be very bad, obviously. So I left the infantry there. On your turn, you start trying to do some attacks here. You use a tank and actually, could you have done that slightly better? Let's see.
The Recon didn't have much movement.
Okay. Yeah, you couldn't attack from this plane, which is unfortunate. So like it would have been better if you, but since you can't, then this is like the best you can do.
This is why I think Recon aren't that impressive when you're not Sturm. Now, I know how important they are, but they are not the best unit ever. I'd rather get a tank over a Recon, and if I get a Recon, it's because I want to save money.
Yeah, I mean, generally, if you're not sure like what the recon does, that tank is just always, and like you can't go wrong with the tank. You can go wrong with the recon easily. Here we start to see what all that money was being saved for. You get a battleship. It's a funny build, but I don't think it's really useful. So like what I think battleship is viable on is when you actually like win these cities, right? Like if you get these 3 cities and you get this city, a battleship is fine. Like assuming like your opponent does not have a million air units here already. The battleship can like deny all of these cities from getting captured, and like it helps zone stuff out. In that case, it'd be fine, right? It's paying for itself. But in this situation, every city that you could deny with it is either captured or I can't really capture easily anyway, which is this city, right? And so the battleship actually doesn't do anything. Because like everything that you could have used it for is, you know, already taken, or like you won't get vision to take it anyway. So the battleship won't do anything. I think later down the line you park the battleship here to like deny the HQ capture.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought process. I'm like, in my realm of player, HQ race is a thing, so I'll just leave the battleship in the reef to protect the HQ.
And yeah, I guess like I can't fault you for that one, because like if like that is the paradigm you're operating out of, then yeah, like a battleship to deny the HQ doesn't seem. I personally would have preferred like an artillery just parked here. Like you can easily shift an artillery here, right? And just deny it all the same, and it'd be like more or less like it'd be 22k cheaper to do that. But like a battleship is not crazy like you think it's a pure HQ race. Unfortunately for you, like that's not how the map plays. Or at least it's not how I wanted the map to play, and I made it that way. So like it ended up not doing anything for you, right? Yeah, battleship in Prague is fairly risky. I think like you can't really justify it this early in the map, or this early in the game. I would consider it maybe like turn 15, turn 16. Again, like looking at the board state, like if you're winning on this side and this side, I'm slow to capture the cities, then like a battleship would be really strong to deny them, right? And like help win that front, because like after you win this side, you should shift your tanks here to contest me from capturing, and then like you'll just have a huge income advantage. This is basically what I'm already doing now, right? Like because I recognize that you're not even contesting or defending any of these cities, I can just shift most of my fighting vehicles here to begin contesting you. And if we go even here, but I win this side, then I will just have an income advantage, and I can use that into just winning the game outright. Okay, because you built a battleship, you're also poor, so you can't build that much. You just build some infantry and a tank, which is fine, because really there's nothing better you can do. And then the moment I saw the battleship in this round, I was like, okay, I think I just won the game. Because like I was thinking, like all the things that I just said earlier, right? Like, well, this battleship isn't gonna do anything because I already captured most of the cities I want to take anyway. I might not be able to get this one, but that's whatever. This city I'm already gonna get for sure. Um, so like, what is the battleship gonna deny? The answer to the battleship is basically the answer to like any indirect, right? You just go to the area where it's not because the battleship can never go here. So you've essentially spent 4 tanks in an area so that it can shoot once and then it can't ever leave that area, right? So that's kind of like the investment that you put into this. So I know that I just have 4 tanks more than you somewhere. I just have to like find that pressure point, and that's probably going to be this area, right? Because you don't have that many vehicles here. We just finish off the tank. We just do a couple of like hits. Just start eating all the infantry. I get an immediate bomber because I was thinking like maybe I want to pressure the battleship somehow. Maybe you build a heavy tank behind all of this, right? Because I see like you have a bunch of fronts. Like maybe it's a heavy tank play. Like you're doing some kind of like fast tech up, and I don't really. I'm fine with like a heavy tank fight, but I just want something that can answer it really fast. I don't think like a heavy tank from my end answers it quickly enough. So the bomber is just like more versatile. It can threaten the battleship. It can threaten a heavy tank.
So you see, this was the experiment I wanted to do. I wanted to see how it would go, and of course it goes wrong because battleships are bad.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And then here, like we actually start seeing like the mech already starts getting because like it was hidden in the forest. It managed to get a recon kill, which was kind of an overextension by you, but that's kind of like what mechs and artillery does. It punishes overextensions.
Yeah. Speaking about mechs,
I was actually worried that I might be overextending this turn because like, I was thinking like maybe you should have like 3-4 more tanks here somehow. But then I remembered, no, you have the battleship here, so there's no way I have less tanks, right? No, I think like this is probably fine.
Speaking about mechs, I've heard a lot that debate, and I know where I am located at. I know my state on it. I know my stand on it, I should say. I hate mechs. Mechs are trash. What are your thoughts about mechs? I see you using one. But in general, mechs, is it a good unit to have, or it's a trash unit to have? Coming from a top 10 player, I would like to know.
Generally, mechs are trash in Fog. There are a couple of like openings you can do on some maps where you can get like, but I would never get a mech game, generally speaking. There is a really high level player right now called Spoot who is like having a lot of success with mechs, even as a non-Sami. But he seems to be kind of like the exception to the rule, because like he gets like 4 or 5 mechs every game, and I don't know how he makes it work. But like he's taken wins off me from that. But in general, I think like mechs are too hard to use. If you're not like a really really strong player already, you're probably not gonna be able to make it work. So you might as well just get tanks. Mechs are really just like a 3k artillery if you think about it. Like they zone about the same range as an artillery does. Like yes, it has 1 less move, but then like because it can move twice, it can attack any adjacent square to like the 2 moves, right? So it's a direct artillery that is 3k cheaper, but it's also very very slow. And also like if a mech gets first hit, it's useless. Like it will just die to everything. So much like artillery in that sense. So yeah, for the same reason that you don't spam artillery in Fog, you don't spam mechs really, because they just die too easily to everything. They're just too slow in the kind of like positional fighting. You're kind of hoping that your opponent fights into the mech. And if your opponent never does that, then you have no army, right? Like everything you have is useless.
I asked that mainly because I had that same debate with DPSI last week or 2 weeks ago, I forgot. He told me good stuff about it, and I do like his stand. I do like your stand as well. And I also say that because recently I did a lot of free play commentary, of course, because I do like a lot of free play commentary, as you probably guessed it. Even if I'm on my own, I still work on them. And I've seen a lot of games on my realm of player where players just use mechs and they lose because they don't have tanks. Like the mechs replace the tanks, and the mechs, yes, they pay themselves back, but they take forever to pay themselves back. So I have the time to actually take the lead as they are paying their mechs back, and this is why I still believe like mechs are really trash, and they are more like a defensive unit when you are like sweating and you're like, no, I will get destroyed, and then you pop the mech just to defend like one location.
I don't even think like mechs are really that good as a defense. Because the thing is, like, mechs are like artillery, right? They also need a unit count advantage to really be useful. Because like if the mech gets first hit, it's useless, right? It's not going to defend anything. So if you're getting overrun somewhere, a heavy tank is usually a better answer, because like a heavy tank has really good defense. If they don't have an artillery in place, enough cops to answer it, tanks aren't really going to be able to answer it very well, unless like they get 4 first hits on good terrain, and even then it's like not a super effective trade anyway. So yeah, I think like DPSI might be coming from a perspective of like mechs in standard. Mechs in standard I think are slightly more viable than in fog, because of like how the maps are designed. Like fog maps are very open. Fog maps favor vehicle movements a lot to prevent stalling. In standard, this is less the case. There's a lot more heavy terrain. In standard, I would consider mechs a lot more. But yeah, like in general, like tanks I think are just superior if you're not sure. Mechs can work. It's really hard to work. That's really the problem with mechs. So yeah, DPSI obviously also knows what he's talking about. Like he's a really strong player, so I'm sure like he made really good arguments for the mech. It's just in fog I don't really like them that much. Just too slow in general, which limits your ability to play flexibly and to change your plans on the spot.
I always like to get my information and my knowledge over a lot of sources and different people, because they all have different experience, and I always like it when some are saying like similar stuff to me.
Alright, so I think like this is a turn like I was already sure I was gonna win this game, but this turn I was like, okay, this game is probably over.
The big collapse.
Because like yeah, I was just starting to collapse you everywhere. I had already won this area for sure. I know you have a battleship, which can't really push me out that well. Here, like your attack is basically accomplished nothing. Like you didn't eat as many cities as you needed to. And in the center, like we're having a small fight here, but I was like, Kantbei needs bases built like, I don't know, 3 recons at this point, 4 recons, and also has that battleship. He also had that B-boat. I see an artillery now. I know there are at least 2 artillery, and I was actually shocked myself with artillery into Javier. Like to me, I was like, I'm not too sure this is a good idea. The other thing is like, I know I'd injured your 1 AA. I didn't see another AA yet, and I didn't think you were disciplined enough to like keep an AA back. So I was like, okay, so my copter and my bomber are probably free for the next turn or so. So this can cover like a lot of attacks pretty safely. And like this copter can also cover attacks really safely. So I think this should just be like, I can just take every hit I see and I'll be fine. And that's essentially like what I start going for. So like I just start going for every hit I see. I just start chipping away at all your tanks. And then luckily enough, I also get like my power. So pop it, and like your 3 artillery now become useless for a turn. Which like to me, like the moment I saw my power, I was like, okay, this like there's no way you have enough of anything to answer this, and you're gonna have to give up the second. Which means like you will never get an income parity again. So like I will just win if I stall.
Yeah.
And you can just win if I just like throw every unit at you and like just try to run over your. It's also possible. It's slightly more risky, but like I can also go for like the HQ capture here, but again you have a battleship. I was already like aware at this point. With a battleship, maybe I can't really take this HQ, but I can take this one. So there's like some kind of weird dynamic.
So
and then yeah,
I had some kind of question in past streams. I did another Sasha versus Javier game in the past, I was playing against Cynic. Cynic, I think you know him. He's pretty good at Recon Goodies. I think he's
Yeah, I know him.
Italian. You know him, yeah. So I played against him in Vandalist because this was his favorite map, and I had one artillery per side, despite being Sasha versus Javier, and someone in my chat was asking me why 2 artillery against Javier, and then I answered 2 artillery against Javier should be a decent number because artillery are still very good despite being weaker against Javier. Would you agree to say even if you are against Javier, you should not be afraid to have indirect, or you disagree and strongly believe Javier should be the only seal where you just don't build any indirect against him?
I think 1 to 2 artillery are fine against Javier. I wouldn't commit like as heavily as you did here with like 3 artillery and like about I wouldn't go that far. But like 2 artillery I think is a healthy number against Javier. Especially since Javier really likes heavy tanks like Neos and MDs. They're a good kind of way to like prevent Javier from just getting free hits off or like being forced to get your own heavy tank if you don't want to get into that game early on. So yeah, I think like 2 artillery is fine versus Javier generally. You will have to like be cognizant of the fact, right? Like if he gets his power and he can pop it and turn, those indirects become useless. So you have to take that into account when you're planning tactics. It requires a bit more forethought, and like you can't just play as mindlessly like without any planning. But you know, 2 indirects I think is perfectly fine versus Javier. But I think my plan on Vandalism in general, this is something but the answer versus Javier might just be you make a day 2 recon, you base skip, and then you send the day 2 recon towards his tower. And I think like that might be the answer against him. Because like the day 3 recon doesn't work if he sends the first infantry to the tower. But the day 2 recon gets there in time. And then if Javier doesn't have tower, he's dead. So that might be the answer. I haven't actually tried it yet because few people play Javier, and usually I'm the one picking. But it's something like I've been kind of thinking about, like maybe that's the answer to him. In that case, Hawk or Sasha might be fine on Vandalism. VB also will see play in that case since Javier isn't as dominant anymore. But yeah, I really like Vandalism actually. I think it's one of the better maps in the pool right now after like they made the tier changes. Like tier 2, I've actually realized that Sammy and Grit are both viable on that map if they fight into Olaf. Against Eagle, it's a pretty hard game, but still, you know, they have some ideas. Max is kind of scary because there's so many choke points, but I guess he would also see okay play with the cup. Important. It's just harder for him to convert into a win. That's true of Max anyway.
That's funny because you're speaking about Olaf versus Sammy. I just lost a Olaf versus Sammy at Sammy, and that's funny because Olaf, because it's global damage, he always wins on longer game because global damage always get worse if the game is too long, because the longer the game will be, the more value will be on the field, so the more value you will take away from your opponent with your global damage. So that was funny because I held my own with Sammy, but at some point, like Winter Fury 1, it hurt me a lot, and Winter Fury 2, man, I was crying my life. I cannot wait to do the replay commentary on that, but man, that's brutal. 2 Winter Fury, man, it's brutal.
Yeah, against Olaf Sammy, you can't really. For the same reasons you can't stall. Right? Like after 2 Winter Furies, it starts getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
The thing is, in Vandalism, you can actually like spam mechs and spam artillery, and you're fine, right? And the reason why mechs are so good is because the 2 landers can transport them into the center so fast. And the center has all those mountains, which makes it hard for tanks to first hit them safely, right? So, and also because like you're spamming copters every turn from the middle airport, all of those things makes Sammy really, really strong actually, because it's hard to get enough vehicles early on to answer her mechs, plus her infantry, plus maybe a recon and then her AAs and a copter all slamming down the middle. Really, really hard to answer. You kind of have to like all in center. I don't think you, but the thing is like if you win the center, it doesn't matter if you lose both sides as long as you don't lose both towers. Because like income wise, you will end up being even. But having the center means you threaten the center airport, you threaten the HQ. You can easily threaten the one base side and like push that back by having control of the center. Because his copters cannot front switch anymore, but your copters will be able to switch fronts really easily. So like there's a lot of like positional advantage to winning the center over the side on that map that make winning it really, really good. And Sammy is one of the better COs for taking advantage of that. Grit is also another CO which can take advantage of that really, really well. I had a game that ended recently where I was Grit into Olaf and I won like day 15 because I
Wow.
won the center and they didn't know how to answer it afterwards because I was about to rocket lock their base. I had a missile which locked their airport. I had a bunch of artillery locking all the entrances to the center. And like the landers couldn't even get close because they die. So like I had all these different ideas coming into play, like they just gave up.
But that's interesting because usually I think Olaf is a very good counter to Grit. Like Olaf, Drake, Hawk, they really hurt Grit based on my experience with that kind of matchup. But I don't know if in fact Grit is really better like in Fog, but I know in Standard Grit is really much better because he doesn't need recon and all he can do is like zone out unit from critical areas. So, but in Fog I feel like Grit is just much weak here. Like with Eagle, I beat most of the Grit players I fought. And the other day I fought that Eagle player as Grit and he rolled on me like really hard. We had some kind of like we hit the unit cap, 50 unit against 50 unit, and we both stole one base from the other player, so we like shifted the entire map, and when we hit the unit cap of 50 units, we just smashed each other and he just destroyed my lines. Like I had lines of like carriers, missile, artillery, anti-air, infantry. I had so many walls. He did one lightning strike, my entire wall went off, and then like my unit were just exposed, and I just died 2 turns after that.
Yeah, Eagle is the one CO you cannot versus as Grit. It's impossible. Lightning Strike will always destroy you. Versus Eagle, I think like you should just resign, honestly. But if you want to play, you need to like find the timing in the mid game where you have more unit count and somehow abuse that to like win and force out a bad Lightning Strike from him. If you just let Eagle sit back and build 50 tanks or whatever, for sure you lose. Like any CO will lose to him if they let it happen. Even Sasha will lose, right? At a certain point, like he can just go from 0 to 100 on his bar and then get 2. And Lightning Strike is one of the most broken powers in the game. So like anyone will lose to him if you let him get to that state. Grit, I think Olaf has decent chances versus Grit for sure. But Olaf is probably like the easiest matchup for Grit, which is not to say like Grit will win most of the times. He will probably lose. It's just that the mass damage is less devastating than Eagle Lightning Strike, who can like outstall you, or
Yeah.
Max, who will just like pop the COP every turn and tear through your lines like they're butter. So Olaf is like probably the easiest one to fight as Grit. It's also not easy because like Grit is really just hard in Fog. Anyway, I think we're on close to the last turn of this game.
Yeah.
I just start doing a bunch of attacks, honestly. Like at this point, I'm fairly confident. Like after you spent 3 artillery shots to like kill a tank and injure another one, like for sure this is just gonna be rolling you over. And that is essentially what happens. Like I just throw everything forward. I just take every first hit I see, and I'm fairly certain like there's nothing you can do to me at this point. Oh no. The replay, I think, crashed. It's still stuck on my view.
So this is what we do, and then we move the turn.
Right. Turn 14 for you.
Yep.
And here, like, yeah, you try to get some hits off, but honestly, like, it's fairly lost. Like, there's really nothing you can do at this position to me. You just don't have enough tanks is the problem, really. You don't have enough tanks. You don't have enough healthy anti-air in position because like one anti-air you did build died too fast. And like the artillery are not gonna end up being able to do much. You lost too much infantry, those things, and also because like you have a battleship here that's not doing anything, right? There's just really no way for you to get back. Also, this is like the CO picks. It's also you don't have a power that will help you get back in the game anyway. Like if you're Hawk, maybe you hope like you can attrition me to death, or if you're Storm, you have the meteor to like throw a meatball at my units and weaken everything. But you're not either of those COs, right? Like Sasha is a win fast or lose fast.
Yeah.
So because you didn't, she lost fast.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much it. Like we can look at the last turn, kill everything else, but it's honestly not that much very interesting to talk about. Like I do a cute little wall here because I know where you're aiming, and I was calculating like probably can't get division of this infantry and 2-hit, so this battleship is this bomber is safe from your AA. Not that it would really matter so much, but I like keeping my bomber alive. Just kill all your artillery, and then
You can already move to the turn I resign.
Yeah.
So
like,
I think I resign right now because I realize you cap here. I'm probably behind you in terms of income, and the moment Sasha falls behind is the moment she lost. So
yeah,
here,
exactly.
would you like to add anything else about this replay, this specific replay, before we go to the Q&A part?
I think I pretty much covered everything I want. Yeah, like day 2 recon, really strong. You guys should try and seen it. At the very least, I think day 3 recon you should do. If you don't want to do day 2 recon, it's too memey for you. People can consider like rushing out an MD or a Neo on this map and then the lander it. I've seen some players do it against me with some success. It's not like auto winning like it is in Dragons in the Dark, but it's fairly strong. It can catch people off guard. Obviously, be careful because you might run into like artillery and just copter spamming really strong in the mid game.
That's very good to know. So now we enter the Q&A. So this is the Q&A part. So if people have question for me or Kantbei, don't hesitate to leave them in the chat. We are there to respond to question. And if people don't have any, well, I think we shall end this soon. So let's just wait and see if people come up with any question for you or myself. Thank you very much.
Alright, sounds good.
Thank you very much for coming again for a 5th time, I believe, or 6th time. I think it's the 6th time. I do like having you here because it's a very good learning experience. You are very good and you are very fun to play with, even if you're much better than me. Oh, he wants to see another match. We will see. Yeah, I do like having you on the channel. You are always amazing. You're the most requested guest on my channel, I must say. We will see Wolf Pride. So you want to see another match? We will see. We will see. So, is there any question outside of that? For you, it's like 9 a.m. 11 a.m. right? 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's close to 9 a.m. where I live.
Okay. Um. So, do you have more time for a game? Because someone asked to for another game. Do you have the time?
Yeah, I have time for like a live game right now.
Okay.
Yeah, should work.
And yeah, about the replay commentary of the game we will be doing shortly. Um, I guess after that you will have things to do, or we can do it after that.
I guess it'll depend how long the game.
Okay. That's good to know. So, yeah. Before we end the call, because I think I will keep streaming the game because you want to see another game. Um, but we will end the call so you can have your full focus, and I can have my full focus as well. Um, um, yeah. So I guess there's no other question. I think I will end the call. Which map would you like to do before we end the call?
I'm honestly fine with any map, but you know, if you want, you could try like a Grit versus Olaf on Vandalism. I know that we've actually played that game before. Like we've played on Vandalism before, but never on that matchup.
Okay, you want Cliff Remix.
Cliff remix. All right.
Okay, we will be doing Cliff Remix. You pick Olaf or I pick Grit? Or reverse?
Cliff remix. I wouldn't pick Grit. I think Eagle is the best pick. Olaf is also fine. Max is probably bad. Like I used to say Max was like the best pick there, but now like I've changed my mind on him.
So you'll pick Eagle?
Depends like what you want to play.
We can do to tier 2. Tier 2. So yeah, we can do tier 2.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so we will see how long it lasts, and if it's short enough for you, and if you got enough time, we can do right away the replay commentary after that. But if we don't, we will find a way next week or when you are next available for the replay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so we will speak with each other soon. Take care, man.
Yep, take care.
So it's you and I chat. So we will be doing another game. So it will be tier 2. Which steel guys want me to see? Now my headset is pissing me off a bit. I will see if it's still working. I just hope I won't mess up the volume or anything. Is it working? Yes, my voice is still working. So, I will just change something here because this has changed. Okay, now it should be fine. Yeah, tier 2. You can be funny, Matt. So we got Olaf or Eagle. Um, that's funny because um, yeah, I think yeah, I will pick Olaf because I see him taking Eagle. I see him taking Eagle. So I won't pick Eagle to make sure it's not a mirror match. So search map. Cliff remix to contain the infantry. So Cliff remix is actually a decent map. I do enjoy it a bit, I guess. Okay. Um. So boom. I should say boom. So I guess I will pick Olaf. uh. So we said I would pick Olaf. 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 There you are. Winner is the person who gets three come tower first and then just attack and take a side. To be honest, uh, three tower doesn't mean you won. I am currently doing a game. My opponent is Max with three tower, and I actually hold my own. I'm not saying I'm winning, but I'm holding my own. So it doesn't mean auto win. Bow 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 bow. Yeah, I know the economy is more important. Contour is cool, but the economy is more important. I never sent the first infantry across. I actually did it once. Yeah, that's Like usually I do it. My second infantry is like the infantry I sent to grab the tower. So if guys are into action slash adventure game, later on tonight, after the stream, later on tonight, I will be playing some. I will be playing some Prince of Persia Warrior Wedding. I map this out every time I play this map low. Yeah, but yeah, later on I will be streaming some action slash adventure game. Now, old game. I like old game. I don't like more recent games. More recent games, they all look bland and not really fun, to be honest. Elden Ring, maybe I will give it a shot. We will see. Not classic. The one in 2000. Um, Warren Whiting was made in 2004, I believe, or 2005. So it's like a 3D game, action driven with adventure as well. This game is amazing. And tonight, if everything goes well, the stream I will be doing will be it's PlayStation 3 because it's a remake. It's actually yeah a remaster I should say. So it's PlayStation 3, but it's still very good looking, very fun. The music of the game is amazing. So I will be streaming that after streaming Advance Wars. Not right after. I will probably pick a break to eat something, and like right now it's almost 9 p.m. I think around like 11 p.m. or midnight, depending on when the stream ends. I will be streaming the end of the game. I say the end of the game because we already had two Prince of Persia stream. I don't know if you have seen them. Um, so we did part one, part two, the last 2 weeks. Actually, don't skip the CD. I don't think you need to anymore. Usually, I just rush the tower. That's good, Wolf Pride. Oh, so now it's my turn. So I do think Olaf counters Eagle, but Eagle is really good in older game. Oh, that's good to know. That's very good to know. Thank you very much for the support, Wolf Pride. And on Tuesday, I also stream Metroid games. Uh, I'm about to finish Metroid Prime, and um, after I'm done with Metroid Prime, I will play the 2D Metroids, the old one, like Fusion, the first one, but I will play the Zero Mission one. I will also play Samus Return. I will not play Super because Super, the only ROM I was able to find was on NES, and I don't know about the emulator for NES, and I really don't know how they work, and I'm really bad with computers, so I'd rather play the one on Game Boy Advance and the one I have on disc. The one I have on disc, of course, is Prime and Prime 2. Usually, yeah, I'd rather play my disc game. I will also play some Prime 2 eventually. I won't stream it yet. I want a full playthrough of it before I stream it. I already did 2 part of the playthrough. That it's recorded. It's not out yet, but it's recorded. And I will upload the full playthrough once I'm done recording it. And now it's the time I usually build my or maybe I don't build Recon yet. No, I don't build Recon yet. I actually build 3 infantry to have enough money for another artillery, because I want to kill both pipe seam usually. So once I'm done with the playthrough of Prime 2, I will be streaming Prime 2. So I think I will end the turn. I like to have diversity. Kantbei is going to be confused this turn. Low. Why? Why is he going to be confused? Oh. Oh. You see, this is why, like, look, it's okay if I do mistake. He will tell me, and he will tell me the best option. That's why he's there. He is an amazing teacher, and yeah, I want to confuse him, and that's the point. I think when you're not experienced, do weird stuff. Don't play badly, but do weird stuff. Like now, I just did something weird again. So now is the time where I have this and this and this. Once we are over with Prince of Persia Water winning, I will be covering the 2 Thrones. The 2 Thrones was the last game in the trilogy from 2000. And we will have 3 streams to cover it. And on May 20, I have, during the week of May 20, I have 2 streams planned. One will be doing the full playthrough of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, and it will be live. So this means it will be live. It will probably last like 5 to 6 hours, maybe less if I'm fast enough. And the second stream will be the 2 years anniversary of my channel. Because in May, by the end of the month, it will be 2 years since I first started YouTube. So I don't know what I will be doing on my 2-year anniversary stream, but we will see. We will see. Maybe I will be playing with people some Advance Wars. We will see. A bit like that, yes. A bit like that. And I've never seen you in the comments of any of my videos on my other channel, so I don't know if you are subscribed, but basically I also have Master Kantbei channel. And over Master Kantbei channel, I have daily uploads. I always have replays. Well, usually I have replays. I have a full playthrough in the work of Dual Strike. And what else? What else? Oh, that's good. Giving likes is perfect, man. Thank you very much. This helps a lot with the exposure. That's very good. I like that support. Thank you very much. I've seen you on lives here. I've seen you lives many times, but I wasn't sure about the other channel. But yeah, thank you very much, man. It's very appreciated. Everything guys are doing are helping. Like the chat right now being that active really helps the the stream itself. And I like it when people jump into live and just chat in the chat because that's the reason like it's alive. You see, you can interact with people and it can be very interesting. That's why I do so much live. Live requires less work than like putting videos together, but the fun of it is not the work around it, it's the interaction. You can share strategic thoughts. Now, at that point, my opening is over, so I'm happy with what I did. What should I do next? Oh, I reckon. Oh my. What should I do next? I already lost? That's rude. Why? I already lost. What happened? Because of the Raycon? Okay. The dead ball is coming. Okay, it's scary. The labs don't give funds. I need to think now. You're scaring me so much. Oh, okay. I don't have the money. If I do, I base skip, and I hate to base skip. Base skip is wrong. Now, what should I do? Artillery or recon? What should I do, Matt? You look much better than me based on most of the comment you left on both streams. Even if you think I already lost, which is probably the case, you're probably right. I will still try my best to bring something interesting, you see. Yeah, I think Raycon can be more able to get an action. Actually, that's not a bad idea because I don't have any Raycon yet. I will still wait for Matt. Raycon or Artery. I think I'll go for Raycon, but bow ba bow bow. Meg. Okay. Meg. Okay, I don't like Megs, but I will try your thing because you look smart. I don't like Megs, but okay. Now, for the Megs, should I place it to protect my HQ? Or should I place it to protect this area from the Recon? Be both side. Okay. Usually I hate Megs, but I will follow your instruction. You look much better than me. Boom, 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 ba ba boom. Um, my next one is Tank Inf, but after that, I think an NTR should be essential. NTR are very important against Eagle, especially in this map. In this map, air units are really strong. I know it by experience because I played it a lot. Maybe I'm not bad. Maybe I'm bad, but I'm still experienced. I'm not skilled, but I'm experienced. Okay, okay, I will have that battle copter. Okay, okay. I lost that building. I will not join because I learned the hard way joining affect the unit count. And joining is trash. It's 9. Oh my. This is depressing, but this is honest, but this is depressing. It's not soft shapeable. Oh, I there, you were right. Oh wow. Oh my. I will count on Winter Fury to save my butt. According to myself as well. But in this map, usually this map is a bit slower. I think early NTR are really important. Really, this is bad. Oh my. Okay, this doesn't look good. Oh my. This doesn't look good. But now, of course, I need my water because water good. Oh, save me, Winter Fury. You are my savior, Winter Fury. At least you're there. Maybe you can save me if you become more positive. That's all to secure the cap of that city. He is racing with Rico. Oh, sorry, when you moved the artery to the left side, to win the 5, that was when it was over. No. Okay, maybe. I'm sure I can do something. I know I will not win because that's Kantbei we are talking about. But I also know maybe I can pull up some kind of fight. No! Infantry champ died! Turbo, the weak side. So, you seem to know the map. Forget about your Babo side, Turbo Infantry middle, vehicle down the other side. Okay! We will try this out. Oh, I think I know what you mean. You want me to control this side and just give him this side. Okay. That seems like a good strat. So, what should I build? Battlecopter, right? That's what you were talking about. I have 14k, I cannot have 2 tanks. But AA is good. I like AA. That seems like the best option, I think. Okay, I will pull all the string there. This is usually what I do in this map. And Battlecopter are usually day 12 for me in this map. Or sometimes I do double tank. Sometimes I do double tank in this map. Like next turn I should have 15k. No more recon. Okay. It's a bit too late, but I will know. No more recon. Perfect. It's a bit too late, but that's fine. Yeah, next turn I have a double tank turn. So just to let you know, there's a 7-second delay between the chat and the game. Send the infantry through the pipe steam, not around behind the HQ. What's the difference? More flexibility. Okay, that's good to know. Man, you are very helpful. What's your name on advancewars by web? And if you got Discord, actually I think you joined the Discord. I will contact you. I think you joined the Discord. I will take a look, but I think you did. Okay. Yeah, you did join. Okay. So I will contact you, man, Matt. You look very good. I will contact you, man. We will speak further. So I don't know if you are aware as well, but I have that second channel where I do a lot of free play commentaries, and I like to have guests. So if you're interested, you may be a guest. And I will actually lock that tile away. You know why? You know why? I don't want that recon to attack my mech. Uh, so usually what I do, I do games just like right now. Then we do the replay commentary. So I learn better by fighting someone better than me. That could be great, man. We will speak further about that later on. But this sounds great. And now this sounds terrible for me. Two tanks. What am I doing? My. So now it's the double tank turn. I will learn a lot. Like, you helped me a lot on my opening in this map. And I think Kantbei will just add up more to it, and it will be amazing. That's the question. Can I survive? Based on what Matt says, I don't think I can, but we will still try. Let's give it a good show. I see these two tanks, man. These two tanks. Bow, 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 bow. This is terrible for me. Usually, what I like to do is I do replays, commentary on different maps. It's rare I will be doing the same maps. Sometimes this happens because this happens, but most of the time I like to do replays on different maps. Now, if it's Global League games, because I do a lot of Global League games, then of course it's the same maps over and over again. But when I have guests over, I try my best with the guests to find new maps. Yeah, this is crystal clear for me. Even for me, I see it. I know I'm losing the income right now. When you are at 15k on that map, you are losing the income. At this point in the game, you are losing the income. Oh, infantry. Oh my. Creepy crawler. This one I like the map. Creepy crawler. That's actually a good map we could play in and then commentate on. I already did assassin with Kantbei back in. I think we recorded the video like in February, but the video went out like at the start of April. This is a butchery. So yeah, creepy crawler. That's one map I was thinking about, but it's rare I suggest map to my guests. I like them to like suggest themselves, and if it's a map I already played or a map I don't like, then I tell them. But creepy crawler is a fun map. Oh my. These infantry are like on steroids. It's crazy. So, the very violent Kantbei is destroying me. But this is good entertainment, I guess. So, let's move here. Yeah, that side is over. That side is done. Oh, infantry. I got lucky. That forest was cleared. Now, do you think if I am smart, I can storm his HQ? Do you think it's possible to storm the HQ and win like that? No. Okay, that's not an option. Perfect. I say that because on my realm of players, I won as Lash many times against Drake players because I stormed the HQ. But yeah, I'm not 13,000 or 12,000, so. Now, he is going to cap your last tower in 3 turns, yeah. That's what I fear. Now, can I do something about that? This is terrible. Oh my. Yeah, I think you're right. But hey, I don't want to disappoint Wolves, so we will see how it goes, but you did say it. Okay. Let's collect. Let's recollect. Regroup. You said no more recon. Okay, let's have 3 infantry. Oh my, this is terrible. No! I will lose my tower. Maybe I can snatch this tower away. You know what? That's my only hope to have one tower. If he has all four tower, I lost. But if I can have at least one tower, maybe I can hold up. I know, Speed Turn, you said. Wait, what? What just died? Infantry, okay. Bow, 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 bow. Good evening, some original guy. Very happy to see you. So after this game, oh my, these battlecopter are like anti-air now. Yeah, basically what's going on? We had Kantbei earlier, and the chat wanted to see another game. So now I'm getting destroyed by Kantbei. And then after that, if Kantbei still has the time, we will do a second replay commentary tonight. Kantbei, amazing guest. Now I'm getting slaughtered, and I'm lucky. Maybe don't get trapped. Okay. I will try, okay, Wolf. You're the one that asked for the fight. I will try. I know I lost, but I will die with honor. Oh my. Okay, okay. This shall be my turn of honor before I die. I shall do stuff. What I really don't know. But this is the last turn of my life. I need to play smart. I know, I know. That's the point. Okay, that one is gone. One, two, three, four, five, six. Hmm. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, so technically speaking, my anti-air can reach. Not at that point, man. It's not enough honor for me. Pipe runner, man. No, no, no. So I know it will be Slaughterhouse. I know it will be Butchery, but hey, we need to do it. We need to do something. We shall fall like a samurai. Now this is Eagle. I think Tank and Raycon should be the option. When I stop building infantry, I know I lost. But the samurai shall live. In terms of value, we are actually even so far. But he is winning in terms of income and firepower. Oh no! No, 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 no! Why? No! Yeah, oh my, these are terrible. Oh my, okay. Oh, oh, the slaughterhouse. Oh my. Please, just focus super. Eagle power is trash. You don't want to use Eagle for the power. The only good asset Eagle has is his super. His day-to-day is fine, but if super is Y, he is tier 2. The only moment I will tell someone to use the power is if you plan on capping the HQ, then you can shield, but yeah. Actually, I will try to make it work. I will try to have my winter free. I will still resign because I clearly lost, but we shall try to use winter free. My computer fell to sleep. The second one, the one with the chat. So, I don't want to lose this. Actually, no, I may get the other tower. So let's save some money for a turn. Okay, this is the moment of truth. The moment I cry. The moment I try. Let's lock that place. Man, no. You know what? I know I lost. No. So, where are you, Kantbei? So I will plug my thing. Maybe got time. Okay, it's still working here. This one is not. Yes, so I will try to call him again. We will see. So man, that was funny. That was short and sweet. So do you have enough time to stick around for the replay commentary of this one? Kantbei?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. So do you have time? Or do you have
On mute.
do you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I hear you now. I forgot I put my laptop on mute.
Okay. Do you have enough time or you have other things to do?
I should have enough time. It was a pretty short game.
Yeah, that's funny because my chat was saying the same. So let's do this, man. We will review this. That was
Okay.
the
Parsec
that
again.
yeah. That was the disaster as expected. Okay. So now, this one, of course, will be re-uploaded just like the other one. And I will resize my OBS if needed. I don't think I need it. Okay, so I will click here. Wait. Don't touch anything so far. Right now. Okay. This will go here like that. Now I click here. So this is taking during a stream. So you can now present yourself because, as I said, it will be re-uploaded to my channel. And now we have some echo. I think it's fixed. Is it fixed? Yeah, it's fixed. So you can now present yourself because, as I said, I will re-upload the replay on the second channel. Are you there? We lost him. He is probably fixing his things, I guess. I think. So chat, did you enjoy the very short game? Bow 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 bow. That's good, that's the point. So now we are waiting after Kantbei if Kantbei is still alive. Oh. Okay. I guess I will cut this here. It was fun. Kantbei is a great guest. By the way, speaking about guests, I'm an original guy. Would you like to do another game one day or another, and then we could do the replay again? Oh, hi, Kantbei. You are still alive. How are you, man?
Hey, yeah, I think my laptop crashed or something, so I'm connecting on my phone, but I can't actually see the screen.
Okay. So is your phone working with Parsec?
No, try kicking me out of Parsec, and I'll just try to just connect on Parsec and not.
You're already disconnected, so you're fine. I will do some cuts when I re-upload. So, do I send you the link or you will try to connect? Okay. Is it working now? This is the true question. It's working. Okay. So, I will just change to the Eagle team because as much as I like Olaf, we need some Eagle. Some Eagle! Boom. Loop. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, my Parsec's still not working, but I can pretty much.
That's a disaster. Are you able to fix it?
Sorry, try kicking me out again. I didn't mute my laptop, that's why it's echoing.
Some technical issues. It will be solved. It will be solved. This is what's going on when we stream. See? Things happen. So, do I send you the invite back?
Yeah, send me the invite again.
Boom. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Okay, I'm trying to connect.
Okay. Is it working now?
Yes, it's working now.
And there is no echoing. That's amazing. I like it. So, now, as I mentioned earlier, it will be re-uploaded. So, you can now present yourself, even if people probably already know you, you can still present yourself to any new people over the channel.
Hey everyone, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kantbei. I'm a fairly high-rated Fog player, hovering somewhere in the top 10 at the moment. And I'm here to help you guys get free wins in Fog.
So, thank you very much for coming again. So now let's do this. You are in charge. You control the replay. After many
think we're
minutes
gonna skip.
of glitch, it's fine. Okay, you skip. Okay, let's skip it.
Yeah, skip to turn 3. That's like the most interesting part. I don't think there's anything really you can talk about in the first 2 turns. So the first thing you need to do on this map, every game, no matter what CO you pick, is turn 3, you have to build a recon from this base. If you don't do it, you just lose, which is what happens in this game for you, right? Like, you didn't build recon very late, and that's why you lost so fast.
Okay, I ask you right now the question: Why a recon so fast? I will. Now I know you're much more skilled than me, as shown many times. I'm still wondering why recon turn 3, because based on my experience on my realm of players, we barely have recon in this map, and maybe that's why I got crushed, and I didn't understood what my chat was telling me when they were telling me recon turn 3. Why is it so important that recon turn 3, and is there any other way to open in this map without like getting slapped the way I got slapped?
So the reason why you go recon day 3 here is, number 1, it's the earliest time you can get a recon without a base skip. You can try for a day 2 recon, but it doesn't achieve that much more than a day 3 recon, so it's inferior. The other reason why day 3 recon is so important is because of the center pipe seam. There is basically no way a tank or really anything can answer that recon in a reasonable amount of time. So the recon will always get like 1 or 2 free hits in. And if your opponent just decides to not capture the forward cities, like for you it would be like this city, this city, this city. If you just decide not to capture those 3 cities because of my recon, which you'll see because it'll park here, right? It doesn't matter. The recon's already achieved its value, right? Like, it's denied you 3k income every turn for X amount of turns, right? So like the recon pays for itself just by existing if you don't go for those cities. If you do go for those cities, then the recon just hits infantry forever until the tank can come out from here. But even then, like, the fastest tank timing can't answer the recon. So like the recon has no answer, which is why like I've been petitioning for the map committee to change this B-boat into a lander, so that at least like you can do a lander drop with a fast tank to answer the recon. Because right now, there's basically no other opening you can do. If you don't do a day 3 recon, you just lose if your opponent does it.
So now this is very good information. Thank you very much. Now I will bring up what the chat just said. There are ways to organize infantry to avoid taking hits on your black bolt side. The 2 hits are not guaranteed against high level players. So do you understand what he just mentioned, or I'm just too bad in English and you did not? And if you did
Yeah,
understood, do you know what he's talking about?
yeah, I understand. So like he's saying there's if you avoid these two cities here, at 1605 and 1803 from your perspective, right? For me it would be like 313 and 115. Then the recon will avoid being able to get any hits in. And this is true, like the recon won't hit infantry, but like I said earlier, the fact that those two cities get denied, is already the recon getting value in, right? So like even if the recon hits no infantry, the fact that you have to go through these inefficient capture paths to avoid the recon is already giving it value, right? So like it doesn't matter if they doesn't actually get any hits in or it doesn't kill any infantry, it will still deny. It will still get value, right? It will still deny income, so it's perfectly fine even if it doesn't do anything.
Thank you very much. This is good
The
insight.
other thing that people might consider here is like they might try like a mech opening to answer the recon. It can potentially work, but again, like it also slows your capture phase, so it's not as if the recon doesn't get value. And as you can see, like in our game, like if the mech doesn't position correctly, the recon and some infantry can just roll over that side fairly easily anyway. So the mechs are not always a good answer to the recon if you don't position well. So that's just why like you have to do recon every game. I don't think it's a question that there's another opening you can do here.
Okay, even if you just say that, I ate that opening. So basically, I can only aid this map, and there's really no
Yeah,
other option.
it's an understandable viewpoint, and like I also don't like this map anymore. Like I feel like a map like this just solved. When I say solved, I mean like the first 7 turns are forced. Like you have to do it or you lose. It's very boring from a strategic perspective. There's not a
Yes.
lot of room for ability, and like you just have to memorize the opening. It's not very fun. So like me and a couple of other players have been saying like if this was a lander, this map would be so much better.
True.
But yeah. Right
True.
now, like I don't think this map should be in the global league. It should just be removed.
I totally agree. Based on what you just told me, like so far, I've been enjoying this map on my level, but based on what you just mentioned me and told me, this must be terrible in your realm of players, in your level of players. Man, this map is trash.
Yeah, it's pretty bad at high level because everyone just does the same thing. It's like a mirror 99% of the time.
Wow.
Um, Even like CO picks are kind of already like figured out. Like the best pick for every tier is Sammy T4. She should actually be T3, but she's T4 here. She's too good in tier 4. In tier 3, it's always Kindle, because Kindle can break the seam in 2 turns, and all of the properties which you're forced to land on gives her
Yeah.
COP value, right?
Yeah.
In tier 2, I think it's just Eagle. Maybe Olaf. It's just like it's the most possible tier to play on. And then if tier 1 existed, not that it does, but if tier 1 existed, Javier would be banned, of course, because it's 2 towers per side. That would make it, I think, Von Bolt. Yeah, I think Von Bolt would just be the pick every game.
Or
So
Stern
like
if
it's a
Stern is
fairly
not
boring
banned.
map from. Okay, if Sturm's not banned, then it might be Sturm. But yeah, like I think just from like a CO perspective, like variety wise, it's very boring. Like there's a best pick every tier that
Lash
we've
it
more or less figured out.
Lash is actually viable. I know Kindle is better, but Lash is actually viable in this map because you can just bum rush the HQ and prime tactic the HQ with battle copters because you can like lock the river. I did that many times. Maybe it's only working on my realm of players, but on my level at least it's working well.
Yeah, so the problem with Lash is just she's not better than Kindle here, basically. You can play her for sure, like she's not bad, but it's just like why would you when Kindle is there? So like if you're thinking from a perspective like best picks, Kindle just beats Lash.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough heavy terrain for her, right? Like every heavy terrain is actually a city or a property, so Kindle just does 10% more damage, and she has a COP, and her SCOP is better. So like what exactly does Slash offer that she doesn't?
Yeah.
And the answer is not much, which is unfortunate. I feel like there should be more maps which cater to Lash over Kindle, just to like for more seal variety. But it is what it is.
And I also believe Kindle should be considered tier 2 in most maps. But that's my take of like a 900 MMR player. But I do think Kindle is really good and she can be viable against like sometime Olaf and Eagle depending on the map. But in longer game, Eagle and Olaf will just stomp her. But like early in the game, she will have the edge over them, I think.
I'm actually not sure if like Kindle will lose to tier 2 here versus Eagle or Olaf. So the problem with Max is that he's forced to get artillery, and then if the map stalls out, and the way the map will stall is if you trade corners quickly, but then Max can't hold his weak corner easily, like his B-boat corner easily, then the map will stall because it's just you fight along this really narrow space, and everyone reinforces through the center, and then it's just a stall, so he loses.
Okay.
Kindle can potentially get around that because she can break the seam really early. She does it in 2 shots. You need 130 attack at least, so Kindle just parks an artillery on a lab or a city, and she can break it in 2. And then she can get artillery fine, so it's not as if she's crazy weak in a stall situation. And yeah, so like she has a lot of tempo play on this map that she can potentially fight Eagle or Olaf. I know Starflash has had some success with her here. I don't think I'd be brave enough to pick her personally, but I can see her getting some play.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, I've got another question in the chat right now. For tier 4, Jake in this map, is it a good pick?
No, because Sammy exists. Basically, Sammy can't be beaten here by anyone.
Okay.
And that's because of the recon interaction, right?
Okay.
Sammy can go for all the contested cities that and no other CO can go for and get them because her infantry don't get interrupted by just one recon, right? It doesn't work. After that, Sammy will just go like a double T-copter or a single T-copter and rush out mechs, and then her mechs are very oppressive here. She can get in more mechs than you can get out tanks really quickly, and then once Victory March comes out, like she will get an income advantage for sure. She will get a tower advantage for sure. So like Sammy's traditional weakness where she has 10% less firepower does not actually exist here because she will get 3 towers to your 1 at some point with Victory March, and then she will just kick your ass in a normal tank fight, right? So she doesn't even lose there. So no one can fight her in tier 4.
Okay, now that leads me to a question. If they are finally smart and they finally consider Sammy tier 3 in 90% of Funk maps, because in my own opinion, she should be tier 3 in most of the map. Now, there are some maps where she is terrible and she should be 4, but my take on Sammy, she should be 3 in most Fog maps, because she's just a very good CO, and I think she's just better than all the other 4. So if we take her out because they decide to make her 3 in this map, is Jake viable, or what's the second pick in tier 4 outside of Sammy?
Okay, so if Sammy gets taken out of tier 4, everyone in tier 4 is fine. Like Grim is fine, Jake is fine, Jess is fine, Adder probably fine. Maybe I probably wouldn't pick Adder, but I don't see him losing that hard.
Okay.
So yeah, everyone becomes viable then, which is why, like I say, Sammy should be tier 3, right? Because from just a CO variety perspective, tier 4 suddenly becomes like fun to play, or like it becomes, it's not a mirror every game, right? So
yeah.
That's why, like I say, Sammy shouldn't be tier 4.
That leads me to
and like it's not even clear to me that Sammy will lose to Kindle here necessarily, or like Sammy will lose to Andy. I don't think that's necessarily true because she can get a lot of tempo with her COP here. So tier 3 would also actually get fixed with Sammy being tier 3.
Okay. Now that leads me to another question. Grim, because of both pipe scene, I do think Grim is very good because he can blow up the pipe seam in 2 turns, even white out the tower in the corner. So is he a good pick?
So the reason why Grim is okay here is, like mentioned earlier, he can blow up the pipe seam in 2 shots, which is he's the only CO that can do that in tier 4. When he gets 2 towers, basically his copters will always one-shot an enemy copter, so You can, if you want to play a bit riskier, you can even go like no A here as Grim. It's fairly okay. Of course, like your compositions might still be like really paper thin, but your Grim, you're kind of always paper thin anyway. It doesn't matter what you wall with. So yeah, I think Grim's viable. He's probably not like ever going to be the best pick, but he's certainly playable, right? Which is the best he can really ask for on most maps.
Yeah. So let's keep going. Except if you want to add more.
No, that was pretty much it for me. So yeah, turn 4, you still don't have your recon here. You get an artillery first, which is the next best opening you can do, but I think you actually move the artillery to the wrong spot.
That's
Other
what
thing
my
to
chat
note is
was
like you
telling
shouldn't
me.
move this infantry.
My chat was telling me
Yeah.
the same thing, and that's funny because I didn't understood, but then I realized, wow, I've been playing this map wrong on so many levels for so long. I don't know how long
Yeah.
it's on the pull, but I always blow up the pipe sim at the end because it's just what I felt right. There's not always a deep thought process behind what I do. It's just like instinct, I guess, and instincts can be wrong most of the time, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why you don't want to move this infantry here, right, is like this infantry should be ferried across the map. Even like versus a recon, you just have to do it. The second to fourth infantry you build from this base always has to be ferried across. The fourth and fifth, sometimes you can ferry it across, sometimes you don't. I usually ferry it across. Because like there's some openings you can do where you skip this city, for example, and you go for this city instantly, so the recon can't deny it. There's some plays like that, but of course, like you lose the infantry anyway. So it's just a question of like, do you want the unit count or do you want the city? But yeah, like you just need to keep ferrying infantry on this side for sure. If you don't have enough infantry, then you can't even use mechs, and then you have no answer to the recon. Also, like, even if you move it to the left, like, this infantry won't be able to do anything. Like, it can capture a lab, but the labs don't give income, so it doesn't matter. This early on, because, like, the opening is solved, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't actually matter if you give them vision or not. Like, everyone who's competent will be opening the same way anyway, and you can just predict it. So even if you see it or if you don't, like you can just say like, oh, they're gonna do the standard opening anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? And that's why like there's no point capturing the labs too early. But later down the line, like mid game, capturing the labs is fine to deny vision and to make it harder for the opponent to predict what you're building. Because if you never capture them, then a good opponent who knows how to like information read will be able to like figure out everything you've built from every base, even if they just from the information of units passing through the labs. Unless you go through like really suboptimal paths to get to the front, which might lose you tank fights anyway, right? So it's like fairly losing either way you put it. Okay, normal capture stuff, more infantry, preparing to get my artillery. And then here we see where your artillery goes. Okay, this is another slight mistake. This infantry should not be going for the airport. This is the job of this port infantry. So, like we've discussed before, right? One way to figure out what is the most optimal capture path, start with your most backwards infantry, right? So this infantry right now is your most backwards infantry. What can it capture in 2 turns? Basically, it can only go for the airport. Does this infantry get there any sooner? Not really, it also takes 2 turns. So, it should be the job of this infantry, and this infantry should be going forward here.
This is very interesting. I like this response. I will see this map always in the new way because of that. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, and then, for this infantry here, it shouldn't finish capturing the lab really, because it can capture the city, and the city gives you income, the lab doesn't. So, like, if your opponent sees like you have a recon, it doesn't matter because they would like everyone goes recon here anyway at high level, right? And even if they see your recon, what are they gonna do to stop it? Like even if they build a tank, they can't stop it, right? So it doesn't matter if they see it. And the other thing is like money is always good, so always go for the city if you can. So yeah, there's no point capturing this lab here. You should have just gone for the city instead. Here, rushing the tower, I think is actually fine. Maybe it's a bit too early though, because it's in my experience, like if you load the second batch of infantry here, if you unload two of them, like both of them will be able to get this tower and like one of the cities here. So like
Okay.
this infantry should either have gone for this capture here if you want to play a bit aggressive, or gone for this capture here.
Okay.
Tower is a bit too early. But I think it's kind of fine in your situation here because like you messed up with the movement of one of your infantry. Like you should have one more infantry here this turn that you don't, and so this tower is going to get delayed. And if you delay it any further, it's possible the recon can deny it. That's happened to me a few games. So yeah, like because like you move suboptimally here, you're forced to do something suboptimal here, and then it will just domino. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip through that turn because honestly, not that much interesting happens. Like everything I told you that you should have done is what I did. The reason I think we didn't cover the reason why you break the center seam over the side seam here. The reason why you do that is because if you break the center seam, two of your bases can immediately access the center area, and from this center area they can either defend your lander side, your B-boat side, I mean, or they can pressure the enemy B-boat side, right? Or they can pressure the enemy center if they don't break the center seam very quickly, right? So they have all these options. If you break open the side seam, the only thing that really goes faster is this base here, because this base actually doesn't get here any faster if it exits from here or if it exits from here. It's almost the same thing. And then this airport, yes, it is accelerated, but only by a little. And anyway, you want the airport to be kind of centralized anyway. The copters, like copters straight down here, doesn't feel that good compared to like copters somewhere more here. Like if they go here and then down here, they'll be able to influence multiple areas of the fight. If they go straight down here, they can only influence kind of like this area. It's a lot more passive.
Okay.
The other thing is like because you show your opponent that because like if you break the pipe seam health is always visible in fog, right?
Yeah.
So if you break this seam, it immediately tells me, oh, you didn't go for this seam, which means my recon can hit your infantry for like another 2-3 turns, right? And that's just like making my recon have more value than it should. And then you finish capturing a lab, which is again a mistake. You really needed to capture this city at some point. Like you're down so much income right now for no reason. And it's going to mess up your vehicle timings. It's also going to be the reason why later down the line it feels like I have so many more tanks than you. It's because like you didn't get all these early income that you should have. Here I do something a bit risky. I actually go greed for like these two cities immediately. And that's because like I kind of realized, oh, he went artillery first. He has no recon, so I'm gonna get these two cities for free now, right? Like he's not gonna be able to deny anything.
Yeah.
And he's never gonna get his 3 cities here. He's probably not even gonna get this city. Like at this point, I realized. So I was like, okay, I basically won the game already. Turn 6. Like as long as I don't mess up anything, I will have like a 5k income advantage in the mid game. I will have like 4 more tanks. I just have to not throw away those tanks and I will win the game. The other reason why like I think that is because even if we just trade off corners here, it will become like a one front map, right? There's only one area we can fight, which is the center. And Eagle will crush Olaf on those maps. Olaf is only better than Eagle when the fight is kind of like spread out across multiple fronts, because then his mass damage will affect both fronts and he can try to like make Eagle's SCOP not as strong, because it won't be like all our army is fighting in one area. So I won't just get like for sure second hits on my SCOP turn, right?
Yeah.
But since this map, if we trade off corners, then that's what will happen. Combined with like my income advantage, like it's just game over basically, right? And this is why I don't like this map. Like if you can win the game by like turn 6 with just from like your opponent messing up the opening, it feels pretty bad.
That's funny. I laugh because chat was telling me the same thing around like day 4, day 5. They were telling me you already lost. And I was like, I will go out as a samurai. I will die with honor.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing some captures now. This is all fairly reasonable considering like the board state you're in. You move the artillery out, you get a tank, that's all fairly decent. And then I just do what I said I do, like I get infantry out, like I unload infantry. The reason I unload here instead of here is because I want this infantry to be able to go for this tower, and this infantry to get this. If I unload here, this city either gets delayed by a turn or this tower gets delayed by a turn. So it's more efficient to unload here, although generally I unload here if I'm not going for this tower. Because from here, like the infantry can get to this area sooner, and I don't really want to fight here anyway. Like, there's no way you win a fight in this area. They will have too much infantry, and your vehicles have a hard time supporting. So you want to be fighting more towards here on your side of the map.
That's funny because I used to see the map as we blow up this pipe seam, and then we bomb rush this side to steal the other player tower. That's the way I was picturing the map. But after what you said, after my chat said, this is where the action must happen. These flanks are like distraction.
No, I mean you're right that the flanks are the correct place to play on. Like, you don't really want to fight center, really, not until you have an advantage at least. But you approach it not through this seam but through the center, because from the center you can potentially threaten to defend, you can potentially threaten to attack here, and like, to be honest, if you break this area is already dead, right? Because like a single copter will kill all the infantry. It doesn't matter how many mechs or infantry they build, right? They're never going to defend against a copter. If you cut off this area, the AA can never answer the copter. And if they try to like match you copter versus copter, then you just get an AA, and then you win from an AA and a copter and some infantry, and you eat everything here, right? So it's the concept of like minimal investment to win the most cities that you can. So like the fact that you have tanks here controlling this area, and like the tanks here can threaten to defend, right? Then you can just win this area for free with a copter and an AA and some infantry. Or like in my case, like in our game, I just used a recon and some infantry, right? Because like I had cut you off, or like I knew you weren't sending tanks here. So I was like, okay, there are no tanks, so like my recon can just hit infantry all day, and it doesn't matter what you do, right? So you're not incorrect that you should be playing for the side. It's just like the way you achieve that threat is in. Fairly normal capture phase. Like, I do this every game, basically. You can just memorize this and you'll win games. Here it's important that you get the tank after the artillery, so that if you're not playing Kindle or Grim or Lash, you know, you can kill this pipe seam in 2 turns instead of 3 turns. An artillery and a tank will finish this off in, I think, 2 shots each from them. Will finish off a pipe seam almost always. Okay, let's see what you did. You tried to go for a capture, which is not advisable, but honestly, like, there's nothing better you could have done at this point. You don't have a mech, you don't need a... Yeah, all your infantry just die. Yeah. This infantry should have potentially gone for this city instead, so that this infantry can go straight down and like start threatening captures here. And that's just because like this infantry isn't really gonna be able to do much anyway. Like, if it goes here, like, it doesn't really accelerate anything. You get a recon, which is fine. And then you finally get a mech, which is also okay. You need an answer to the recon, and the tank's not gonna cut it anymore. It's just too slow.
That's funny because usually
I just keep hitting your infantry because
I ate megs, but then my chat was telling me like, I asked chat what can I do, and then he told me a meg to counter the recon. I was like, okay, for once I will accept making megs.
Yeah, like a mech here is honestly fine. Like, mech is one of the ways you can potentially slow down the too much damage, because this game is a damage race map, similar to Mysty, right? Yeah. You want to slow down their attack as much as you can while accelerating your own. Mech helps slow down the recon from just like getting free hits every turn. So it's an okay build. 1 or 2 mechs are fine. Here I go for a copter because I'm Eagle. Why not? And like at this point I was thinking, I'm probably gonna get 3 towers, right? So if I have 3 towers, then I'm gonna have like 145% attack. I'm basically Sensei, which feels pretty funny. So like I said, okay, I'm gonna start getting copters. Anyway, I want a copter anyway because like if I cut you off here, you don't have an AA, then my copters will just like shred through this area very fast. Or I can support the center fight. Like a copter is not a terrible build anyway for Eagle, so why not? Here you do some captures on the labs. Honestly, like not much else you could have done here. This is the correct play actually, like dropping the mech because it's on terrain, and I don't really have towers yet. Although you don't potentially know that, but even if I take the first hit, like I will trade off the recon for the mech, and I don't really want to do that because my recon is more valuable than your mech.
Yeah.
Your mech can be reinforced fairly quickly, like you can replace that in a turn. My recon takes like 4 turns to arrive, so I don't want to trade off my recon. This tank move is really too passive. You don't need to sit on the HQ this early. There's no way there's gonna be a threat this
I
early
was
on.
scared. You know why? My chat was going
Mhm.
all crazy about I already lost, and it was like you will make a dead ball and everything. So I was like, oh no, is it happening already? So I just placed my tank on the HQ because I was scared.
Okay, so when they say that, they probably mean you're gonna lose because like strategically I'm in a winning position, not because like I'm gonna take your HQ. I don't think I've ever won via HQ capture because it rarely ever happens. To be honest, like HQ is really hard to take in my opinion. You just park an artillery behind it, right? And if you're not fighting Sammy, you're safe.
Dude,
So like your tank can be somewhere further here or somewhere further here,
that's
and there's
so
basically
funny. That's
yeah,
funny.
basically if you know.
Okay. That's funny because you say you never won by HQ cap, but I won so many times with last HQ cap in this map.
I mean, it can potentially happen. I guess it's just like I think it's really hard to pull off against like a strong opponent. So I don't generally bank my plans on that, especially not this early. Like turn 9 is just way too early, unless like the map is fundamentally broken in some way. And there's some maps which are, but this is not one of them. So yeah, your tank could have been more aggressive, like somewhere here. And if you know like the vehicle timings, which if you look at like my one game here, you will know the vehicle timings. Like the fastest vehicle timing does not let me attack your tank in this area. Like the fastest tank you can get is here by this turn, and this tank can only go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you park anywhere on the diagonal before this forest, so like anywhere here, you're completely safe. Like this tank can't get hit. It's just impossible, unless you're fighting Stern. But there's no tier 1 here, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. Turn 9. I get 3 towers, so I'm fairly happy here because now I'm 100% sure like this game is over. I mean, it was already over a couple turns ago, to be honest, but like this is just like winning even harder, basically. And like you're very quickly running out of things that you can do to like try and stop me. I get a fast AA here because very common situation here is like you have too many tanks and you don't have a copter, and then like a copter can shut down your ability to defend here. It's happened to me too many times, so I get a fast AA here generally now. Okay, your turn. You hide your mech in the forest, which is fine. Like there's really nothing else you can do, to be honest. Which is why like I'm saying, the game is already kind of lost because like even your best moves feel pretty terrible. Is not a good position to be in.
I tried my best to shield my tank, and I wanted at least the tower. That's why I did that. I
mean, yeah, it's reasonable. The problem is like this tank honestly should have just gone, and then like maybe you could have tried to fight for it, but like because you only have one tank and you have the 2 artillery and the recon and the AA you just built, so it doesn't matter. But because of all of those things, and a lot of the reason why those builds are the way they are is because you didn't get the cities that you needed to get immediately, right? Like you went for the labs first.
Yeah.
So you can see how like it started to like spiral, right? All your tank builds are delayed. So you can't fight for this tower, so then you never get this tower, so then you never get these cities, so then you lose the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like it very quickly spirals down from there.
My thought process by sending the tank there is turbo your tower, as my chat was telling me, and this will lead to another failure.
I mean, yeah, like I don't blame you for trying to get the tower. Like you were basically in a now or never situation. But then again, just like you have no good place left, right? Like it's just down from opening, which is why this map is kind of bad. If you have no way to get back in the game strategically after like the first few turns, because like you've messed up the opening, like it's not very fun to play. Yeah, like your best possible move is just like streaming tanks down the center to try and like deadlock me here. And I don't know, maybe you get your SCOP and you get like a really good engagement somehow, but it's all kind of like honestly really hard to play. And then I'm just like using my recon and just a bunch of infantry to like flood this area because I know like all your vehicles seem to be here, otherwise why would you break these 2 pipe seams? I don't see a tank coming from this direction, so like this is all just free right now. And I don't have to commit anything here except 1 recon to win. And once I win this area and you fail to win this area, which you will fail because all my vehicles are here, then I just win the game because I'm Eagle and I have an income advantage. Like, how do you win? Yeah, it doesn't work like that, right? I was considering like whether I should just give up the tower at this point, but I was like, I'm gonna YOLO it because I feel like your opening was kind of terrible, so I'm feeling kind of confident. I'm just gonna go for it and let's see what happens. And I end up being correct. Like, yeah, I just get killed 2 infantry for 1 infantry, and it turns out like you weren't able to fight me. I thought you would actually like start taking an engagement. Maybe you had like 2 tanks, and you'd get 2 hits in, but that's not what happened. So it just ended up like going really well for me, and the rest of the game is just a stomp.
So
right? Like I think you were
that's funny. That's funny because the other day. I forgot if it wasn't on the comment of one of my video or in the chat of one of my stream, but I remember someone telling me all Cliff Remix was the worst fog map, and I kinda didn't understood. But now, based on this replay commentary we are currently doing, I do agree with you. This map is terrible. This map is trash. I don't want to replay this game ever again.
Yeah, like once you know the secret, right? Like once you figure out, or once you've been told the opening, the map just gets ruined for you, right? Like you realize, like, oh, I have to do the same thing every game, and I can't do anything else for the first 7 turns. That's so boring.
What's the point of a strategy game if you cannot really imply a strategy game? That's also why I don't really like chess, because chess is very square based. And it's all about pattern of pieces. So the game, most of the time they all end up the same way. Even if you can do so much, you cannot really do so much because you are limited to what the piece can do and what the board can let you do. And this is why I think Advanced Wars is a much better strategy game. And this map here ruins everything. This map is like a chess map.
Yeah, this map is like basically solved, which is why like it needs changes. Honestly, it's not very healthy, competitive. And then we can just breeze through the rest of my turns. But honestly, like, I'm just taking every hit that I see at this point. I even like didn't delay my capture here because I wanted to use an infantry and a recon to clear your mech, so that my recon would be completely unanswered now. Which is what I do, right?
Yeah.
So the moment the mech, when like you have no answer to anything, you have to get another mech maybe, but it would feel bad. You're also losing on this side. It's just very demoralizing. So even if like maybe it's not the most optimal play, but it is like demoralizing. And in Fog, like you can just make someone resign because they feel like they lost, even if they haven't.
Yeah, I also learned.
Kind of just
another map, Assassin, the map we actually played in. Someone
Uh-huh.
played it really hardcore. Like, he is another content creator, and we played together on this map because he have seen the video we did together, and he was like, "I want to play in this map because I know the map." And then the first time I really crushed him. It was like Lash versus Andy. I really really crushed him. And then we had a rematch in the same map, and he decided to pick Lash, so it was basically a mirror match. And this is crazy because I learned that in mirror match, player 1 will always win in this map because it's an HQ race, and there's only one way to really counter the HQ race. And at the time I played against him, I didn't know that only way. You need to spam Battlecopter when you realize your Black Bolt is in danger if you are player 2, because you won't make it in time. You will just lock the river, the bridge, and then he will just HQ cap you. So I basically lost. He is a good guy. He's a great guy, but I basically lost to a guy less experienced and less skilled than me. Um, because he's brand new to Advanced Wars by Web. He played like the campaign and everything, but there's a big difference between like someone that played like me. I played a lot of Advanced Wars by Web, so even if I'm not skilled, I'm experienced, you know, and this should factor in. But I lost in that mirror match based on I didn't know how to properly counter like the HQ rush, and that's funny because the turn he finished capping my HQ, I was capping his HQ. So if I had like one turn earlier, like if I was player 1, I would have won the game, you know? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I realize Assassin is not an amazing map. It's just like, it's fun. I don't hate the map. It's better than Cliff Remixed. But after playing this game, Assassin drops so low in my taste of maps because I realized, okay, in mirror match, player 1 has a huge advantage there, and if the HQ is threatened, you are forced into spamming Battlecopter to protect it, because even if you have tank, there's river, so there's some kind of choke point, so you need air unit to really protect your HQ. And if you already like force yourself into having air units to defend your HQ, you already lost, because during that time you can produce other unit elsewhere and push on other points in the map while you just want to survive.
So on Assassins, the way you answer this is basically you don't make it an HQ, right? In high levels, how Assassins play out is you basically just fight for the center 2 cities. Like everyone, all the tanks are there almost 90% of the time. If all your tanks are in the center and like they don't mirror you, like they try to rush your HQ, then your tank can just shift over towards your HQ and try to contest it, and you'll generally succeed, like with the copter, right? So what ends up happening is like you use your first artillery to kill the tank on the city. Potentially you can go for a recon if like their artillery is late, to like try to deny some captures. But it's some variation of that, right? Like it's artillery into recon or recon artillery. And then the artillery then breaks the pipe seam on the side. And the moment you break the pipe seam on the side, you just start spamming tanks from that base, because that base gets to the center with its tanks faster than any other base. So you don't actually like spam tanks from your strong side initially, or like in the mid game you don't spam tanks from there anymore. You spam them from your weak side, your HQ side base, and then you try to occupy the center. If you win the center, generally you will win the game, because you will get an income advantage and you will have a positional advantage. And then yeah, if they try to HQ race you, then you can just answer with vehicles and you should be fine. As long as like you're aware or like it's happening, you get a couple of recons to have some map awareness, but you should be fine most games.
Yeah, but that's funny because that specific game, I didn't expect like he would be able to blow up the boat, because I still had a lot of meat surrounding my boat. But I was like, oh, he really went through my wall like that. Like, that was not the strongest wall I had. Like, I had a lot of infantries and tank, and I was making sure I was damaging all of his 10 HP infantry just in case. but that wasn't enough. I just got overwhelmed. And, if I had more air unit, I would have really stopped that cap. Like, most of his units were damaged units. I just didn't add the number to like pierce through the wall and then smash the unit behind.
Yeah, makes sense. Here I think like the only interesting that question this turn is like, do you use the 9 HP or the 10 HP infantry to kill the 4 HP infantry on your mountain? So the reason why I picked the 10 HP infantry is because I want to get your tower really fast. If I use the 9 HP infantry, it takes 3 turns. 10 HP will take 2 turns, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really funny if I have 140 attack into 100 attack. Like, basically, I'm a better max fighting into like you with attack. Like, I'm a max who stole your tower, right? Like, that's what it ended up being if it was a 2-tower map. So yeah, that's why I chose to do that. And then like another 1k income honestly is not gonna change that much for me. Like I already know I have an income advantage, so it doesn't really matter. Having that much more income doesn't really change anything. And then yeah, like the rest of this game is only just me using my recons to kill your infantry, and then I just kind of just dive you at some point and win the game there. So yeah, like here we can see like Sensei Battlecopters are insane. I say Sensei because I have 140 attack right now, 145 actually. So Sensei Battlecopters can one-shot infantry on planes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 100% kill on planes. And then they take like 7 HP from a tank on planes. It's pretty insane. Sensei is pretty broken. So, like, Eagle Copter with Sensei stats is also insane. And yeah, honestly, like you try your best here, you put up a fight, but there's really nothing you can do anymore, right? Like,
I wanted a Winter Fury, but then I realized I cannot. I was like, yeah, like Winter Fury before I die, but then I realized I cannot.
There's just like you just don't have enough vehicles to sack for it. Basically, it's really really tough. And then like my turn, I just clear out your vehicles a little. I get your tower, right? I now have 140 attack, which, yes, you're gonna get my tower too, but then we're still in the same situation where 130 attack. But now it's one front and I have an income advantage. It's all doomed, right? And like I'm at this point, like I'm pretty sure I overextended, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm confident there's no way I can lose anymore. And then we just like make a nice little arrow formation here, just so that the board state looks nice, even if it doesn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah. So now I try my best. I want that super. I'm like, I will get it, and then I resign because I realize I can't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it, and then like I just kill everything here, and then everything hopeless. So that's the game, right? Like. Cliff Remix, not a good map.
I cannot wait to upload this map. I hope I will remember this and I will mark in the title the worst flying map ever against Kantbei. Kantbei. So is there anything you would like to add up more?
No, not really. Like just if you get this map, unfortunately, just do the opening and you'll win games for sure. Against people who don't do it, you will win games. Like people at 1000, I don't think even understand this opening yet. So you'll just get a free win on this map every time you play the opening.
That's true because I've never seen that. Never. It's the first time I see that opening. So when my chat was telling me, do that opening or you already lost, I didn't believe them. I was like. Why? What's going on? And then I realized my chat was right.
Yeah, it's honestly fairly disgusting how far ahead you can get with that opening. And it's not like Misty, right? Where on Misty, like there's some potential counterplay. Like if you know what's happening, you can get a tank on the lander and potentially try to punish it. Here it's just like. You know it's gonna happen, but like there's nothing you can do. It's so depressing.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I will also end the stream at the same time. So is there anything else you would like to say? And I have a question for you before you add the end word, the end sentence. When are you making your channel? You told me about you planning on making a channel eventually. When is it a true project that will be born?
I have been working on it. Unfortunately, like my mic audio does not sound very good at the moment, so I'm still trying to like figure out a way to like fix that with like my settings. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Look, I will tell you something. You are very experienced, you have a lot of wisdom to share, and you are good at sharing wisdom. So I don't think the importance is the sound or everything when you start. But of course, when you have a fan base, as I said before, like once you met a certain growth, then you can consider having like better mic and better stuff. But I think you can start off with what you have. To be honest, me, what I have right now is very basic because I don't have enough subs, and I do it for fun anyway. But I think what I have right now is enough for what I do. And of course, if I grow bigger, if I reach like 100, if I reach 1000, of course the tech will go up, it's normal. But when you start, I don't think it's that important to have like the best things ever, because everyone need to start somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind then.
Like, you have the wisdom, and I know you can have like the fan base and the people like in my chat. He Wolf Pride is thanking me for bringing the real Kantbei because the other day he was telling, "Oh, I thought you were Kantbei," and I'm like, I'm not Kantbei. Kantbei, I had him in the channel as guest, but I'm not Kantbei." So even the chat is saying like, he hear you well. So as I said, like, start small and grow bigger. It's normal. Like, I've seen on other podcasts the other day. Um, the person was basically a writer and older. He liked to write novel and everything. I don't know if you know Chris Gore, but anyway, Chris Gore is basically saying in one of his podcasts he had with someone else, he was saying people don't care about your gadgets. They care about what you have to say. And then of course, if you meet a certain growth, you will need to up your game and have better material. But when you start, like, you don't need the best of the best. You are starting. It's normal to start rock bottom.
That's true. That is actually very wise. So yeah. Then yeah, I will get my channel up as soon as I can then, and
That
not worry too much about
that's
quality.
very good. I cannot wait, man. I want to see your videos. What you will be doing, man? I like DJ's videos. A lot of learning, and I think you will also bring a lot of learning as well. So, is there anything else you would like to add before I end both the video and the stream?
No, not much else to add. Just guys, get that elo up. We need more people to play against at high level. It's getting boring playing the same 30 people. So anything that helps people get better at the game is a win in my book.
That's very good, man. Thank you very much for coming again. We spent like roughly 5 hours just playing and commentating. I thank you a lot, man. Every time you come in, I like to work with you, and I think people watching also like you a lot. So thank you, man. It's not everyone willing to come back, and it's not everyone, like, some people are saying they're willing to, but then they don't respond, or they don't show any sign of life. Like, you respond pretty fast, and you're proactive. Like, you're someone we can rely on, and this is what makes you so great, and also the teaching and the wisdom. So I thank you a lot, man.
All right, always happy to help out.
Have a good night, man. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye. So chat, I hope everyone enjoyed as I said, I will stream later on. It won't be Advance Wars, but I will stream. And we will have Kantbei some other day as well. So I hope all of you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each